Tonight is November 18th. We are on Zoom, as is legally allowed now with the COVID situation. And you should be notified that those attending tonight's meeting should be aware that the meeting is being audio and video recorded by Air Shirley Regional School District. And any audience members who wish to record any part of the meeting must inform the chair, who will announce the recording. This is to comply with the Massachusetts wiretap statute. The listings of matters those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at this meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. So thank you all for attending, and good evening, everyone. Michelle, my favorite person in the whole wide world, would you please call the roll? One Michelle, the two L Michelle, or the one L Michelle's? Michelle Town.
Mr. DeForge?
Here.
Mrs. Granger?
Here.
Mr. Leone?
Here.
Mr. Quinty?
Here.
Mrs. Reshoots?
Here.
Mrs. Simmons?
Here.
Hi, everyone. Mr. Plunkett, would you lead us in the pledge tonight, please?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance
to the
to
flag
the flag
of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it
stands
one
one
nation,
nation under God,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice
for
for
all.
all.
Thank you, Mr. Plunkett. I always like to give Bill the hard job to do. Do we have any public participation tonight? Mr. Tebow, do we have any?
No, no one has stated a desire to speak yet. For those of you that are attending, if you could just type your name into the chat. And yes, we actually do have someone.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Welcome, Mr. Watkins. We allow 3 minutes, and we will limit this to a half an hour total. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yep, just give me a minute to give him permission to talk.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome. All right.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? You guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. If you could just state your address, please.
33 Shirley Street. So I just wanted to make sure that we are discussing, just a heads up, I wanted to ask if the school committee is aware that the diversity and equity subcommittee is waiting on some, I guess, things to be addressed on the school committee's end so that we can keep moving on with things that we wanted to do. There was a great discussion we had at our last meeting. It was a couple weeks ago. And there were some great questions brought up about how we can be earning trust from students. And I know that many people put together some presentations, but we are waiting on the end of the school committee to get to us with some stuff. And I don't know if this stuff was on the same roster. Is this the same stuff that was on the roster for October?
Yes.
Is there a reason we don't
the beginning of November.
prioritize? What's that?
It was the beginning of November.
Oh, my apologies. Do we prioritize, like if we run out of time for a specific topic, do we prioritize it in the next meeting, or do we continue to have it at number 9?
We will get to that tonight. I don't see any problem with that.
Okay, cool.
And
Awesome.
the order is, if people expect the order, so it's sometimes a little tricky to change stuff, but we can see how it goes.
What do you mean by we expect the order?
Well, do you have the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see that is actually under new business, and so it's going to be addressed in about 20 minutes.
Oh, solid.
Okay.
Alrighty, cool.
So tonight
All
I
set.
would relax. Maybe not another night, but tonight looks okay.
Awesome. Sounds good. Alrighty. See you soon.
Do you have anybody else, Mr. Tebow?
Sorry, my apologies. I was muted there for a little bit. Yes, my apologies if I mispronounced this. Faisal Mohammed would like to speak. I did promote you to a panelist, Faisal, if you'd like to speak.
I think you need to turn your microphone on. There you go.
Can you hear us okay? No, looks like they just muted. Okay. So what, Faisal, if you would like to speak, if you wouldn't mind putting something in the chat and we can come back to you in a bit. And we also have Lori Sabal that would like to speak. Hold on. Hi, Lori, can you hear us okay?
You hear me?
We can hear you just fine.
Okay, great. I'm here from the Recycling Committee. You may recall that in June, I attended your meeting by invitation to present you the proposed revision of the recycling policy draft, recycling policy. And I was told that I would hear back from you. I've tried contacting several of you on the committee since June and haven't heard back from anybody. So I thought I would pop in tonight to get some idea of when we can resume that discussion.
Welcome, Lori. I'm sure this has just been an oversight as we're all trying to deal with getting school started and the insanity that ensued with all that. I apologize. It probably slipped a little bit, and we can get back to it and address it at the next meeting if that would work for you.
Yes, that would work for me. Will you just...
I actually didn't get an email from you, but if you send one to the office, they can forward it to me.
I'm sorry, repeat that, please.
I actually didn't get an email from you, but if you forward it to the office, then they can get that to me.
I did send you an email. I also emailed Michelle Town, but who should I contact to get on the agenda?
If you send it to Michelle Town, then we can take care of it.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that. I apologize.
Thank you.
You'll get something, something to be thankful for, right?
Well, at this time, there are no other participants that would like to speak.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tebow. We appreciate all the help.
Oh, no problem.
We'll move on to the agenda then, and the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. We have the minutes for October 6, 2020, the regular session for release, the minutes from October 21st, regular session minutes for release, and a warrant memo. Does anyone wish to speak to either one of the minutes from the 6th or the 21st? Are there any addition or corrections? You guys don't be careful, I'm gonna start calling on you. Okay, I don't hear any. I didn't have any myself. And the, excuse me, the warrant memo, we have an AP warrant number 1065 dated 10/16/2020 for $326. That's for the extended day. We have AP warrant number 1066 dated 10/16 for $748,301.07, and that's a biweekly payroll warrant. A biweekly bills warrant. And then we have payroll warrant number 9 dated 10/23/2020 for $708,630.76. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. If no one
I'll make a
has-
motion that we approve the
minutes.
consent agenda as it's listed on our agenda for November 18th.
Second.
Second, thank you very much. All in favor? Ms. Town, I'm sorry, someone say something? Did I miss you? I'm sorry. Michelle, do you want to call the roll, please?
Mr. DeForge,
I abstain.
Mrs. Granger,
Aye.
Mr. Leone,
Aye.
Mr. Quinty,
Aye.
Mrs. Reshoots,
Aye.
Mrs. Simmons.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Moving on to new business, we have the Air Shirley Regional High School student recognitions. We have Mr. Christie here from the high school, and we have Dr. Malone for the Don Parker and the Abigail Adams awards. Mary?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, everyone. The first student recognition that we have this evening is a Academic Growth and Student Leadership in Learning Award, which is presented by the National School Development Council and New England School Development Council. This award is presented to high school seniors who have consistently pursued a high level of academic effort and who have also served as positive role models for the student body. Recipients of the award exemplify admirable character and accomplishment. And tonight, our first award goes to Mr. Sean Doyle. Sean Doyle has been in the E.S. Shirley Regional School System since preschool. He's a current senior, where he enjoys the academic experiences that the school offers, being a member of the first robotics team, playing in the jazz and marching bands, and playing baseball. Sean is a multiple award winner during his time at A.S. Shirley Regional High School, winning the Don Parker Civic Leadership Award, English Department Award, and the Dartmouth College Book Award, among others. In addition to his work, Sean has been an active volunteer in the community, coaching the first Lego team at the Page Hilltop School, serving as a waterfront volunteer at Camp Sunshine, which is a camp for terminally ill children, and volunteering on group trips to Scranton, Pennsylvania, Montezuma Creek, Utah, to help those less fortunate. I also would like to note that Sean has been a member of the Superintendent's Student Advisory Committee at the high school. So congratulations to Sean Doyle for receiving the Academic Growth and Student Leadership in Learning Award. Our second student tonight is Hai Song Moon. She is a current senior at A.S. Shirley Regional High School. She's been with us since 5th grade, by the way. Hai Song is an active member of the National Honor Society, Mock Trial, the Literary Magazine, the Leadership Education Program, and plays soccer. She is also a multiple award winner during her time at A.S. Shirley, winning the St. Michael's Book Award and the Foreign Language Excellence Award in both Spanish and Latin. Throughout high school, Hai Song has volunteered her time at the Air Child Care Program and Loaves and Fishes. Also, she is a member of the Superintendent Student Advisory Board at the high school. So congratulations to both of these students. This is quite an honor. And typically we like to present these awards in the fall, so these seniors may include these awards in their applications to college. So congratulations to both of those students. At this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Christie, who is going to finish off with the other awards this evening. Mr. Christie.
Thank you, Dr. Malone. Good evening, Air Shirley School Committee members, Dr. Malone, Mr. Caleri, and to a wider audience watching over Zoom. I'm delighted to be here tonight announcing 2 major award categories and the recipients of those awards for Air Shirley Regional High School. Throughout this pandemic, the students at the school have been incredible. They've adapted to the new ways of learning, they've complied with an entirely new set of expectations, and they have defined new forms of success. The first set of awards I'm thrilled to announce are the Don Parker Civic Leadership Award. The Don Parker Civic Leadership Award is given in recognition of academic achievement, exemplary leadership in the school, and dedication to improving the Air Shirley Regional School District community. These awards were announced to students and parents last spring at our Underclass Awards Night, and we're happy to announce these awards to a larger audience. Many of the winners of these awards are present tonight with their families. This is the most prestigious award we give to our rising seniors, and I hope that you will join me in celebrating the recipients tonight. I will announce the students in alphabetical order. Grace Audette, Jared Cherico, Sean Doyle, Jamie Kozakowski, Rosalind Lupasic, Danielle Martinez, and Kara O'Neill. I have one of the awards in front of me. They're beautiful and they'll be handed out to students. Congratulations.
Congratulations, students.
The second set of awards I will present this evening are our recipients of the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship. The John and Abigail Adams Scholarship provides a tuition credit of up to 8 semesters of undergraduate education at a Massachusetts state college or university, and are awarded to students who earn a minimum score on one of the following tests: a 501 on the ELA MCAS, a 504 on the Mathematics MCAS, a 260 on the high school STE MCAS, who minimum score on one of the 3 of the following tests: a 472 on the ELA MCAS, a 486 on Mathematics MCAS, and a 240 on the high school STE MCAS, and who have combined scores from the 3 MCAS tests that place them in the top 25% of students in the graduating class in their district. The following students have met the standards listed, which have become more complex with our move to a new MCAS, but which hold the same financial remunerations as previous years. The recipients of the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship are Grace Audette, Sean Doyle, Samuel Folger, Dylan Granberg, Alex Hertz, Catherine Jean, Ian Keene, Rosalind Lupasic, Owen McDonald, William McDonald, Zachary Malmstrom, Danielle Martinez, Eris McCubbin, Haisong Moon, Courtney Niedermeyer, Kara O'Neill, Olivia Ostreicher, Darren Fawn, Catherine Quinty, Claudia Ramos Mercado, Kai Reddy, and Coleman Richards. Congratulations to all the recipients of both the Don Parker Civic Leadership Award and to the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship recipients. At this time, I'm happy to turn it back over to Dr. Mary Malone, Superintendent of Schools for the Air Shirley Regional School District.
Thank you, Mr. Christie, and congratulations to all of our students. Best of luck as you pursue your future endeavors and your college pursuits. That completes that agenda item, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Congratulations to all of them. That's a fantastic awards that they get, and the number of kids that excel is really impressive. So wishes all to them from us, and we would appreciate that very much. Good. The next item is item under 6 is item B, the introduction of Director of Equity and School Counseling. Dr. Malone?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. And Mr. Tebow, would you mind bringing up Mrs. Wilson so we can meet her? She is one of our panelists, and I'll begin to talk about Mrs. Wilson. As you know, the district was seeking a Director of Equity and School Counseling, and we found a wonderful candidate to fill this position. Ms. Lorraine Wilson has been selected as Director of Equity and School Counseling for the Air Shirley Regional School District. She came to the district from the Chelmsford Public Schools, where she was the coordinator of social emotional learning and school counseling. There, she supervised a team of school counselors, clinical psychologists, and social workers. She also worked collaboratively with other district and building level administrators to support the K-12 developmental guidance curriculum. I'm going to stop for a second. Do we have her up there, Mr. Tebow?
Yep, hello.
There she is. Hi, Lorraine. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello, thank you.
Prior to her work in Chelmsford, she worked as the director of the upper school at Carding School in Lexington. And in that role, she worked with senior administrators, teachers, paraprofessionals, counselors, and related service providers to meet the educational and social emotional needs of children with unique learning challenges, including communication disorders, physical disabilities, and complex medical conditions. Prior to her work at Carding, she worked as a student support coordinator and program director in the Boston Public Schools and a school counselor in Hartford, Connecticut. She values diversity, equity, and inclusion and believes that all students and their families have the right to a safe, nurturing school environment where both academic achievement and social emotional learning are valued, supported, and celebrated. She seeks to support educators in facilitating inclusive learning experiences that directly address diversity as it relates to global citizenship in a 21st century world. In order to do so successfully, educators must acknowledge their own biases, seek to understand how they can impact their practice, and continually expand their knowledge as it relates to marginalized groups, including those of different backgrounds, be they racial, ethnic, cultural, linguistic, religious, socioeconomic, family structure, language, gender identity, sexual orientation, and/or disability. This provides a foundation for creating reflective, positive, inclusive school communities where all are welcomed and affirmed. Her educational philosophy is equity-driven and child-centered. She sought to join a school district where educators understand themselves to be lifelong learners in an effort to continuously improve their teaching and therapeutic practices. She was drawn to this particular position because of the opportunity to work on issues of equity, a lifelong passion. Her early childhood and preteen years were spent in Selma, Alabama, the site of Bloody Sunday, which marked a turning point in the civil rights movement. After leaving Selma, she transitioned to a large urban public school district in Hartford, Connecticut. There, with a racially, ethnically, and linguistically diverse group of peers, she completed her secondary education at Berkeley High School. Her post-formal education includes a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from Clark University, a Master's in Education and School Counseling from Boston University, and a Certificate in Educational Leadership from Endicott College through the EDCO Collaborative. Her coursework in the area of cross-cultural counseling, sociology of gender, family systems, and the development of neurotypical and neurodivergent children will serve her and the district well in this position. Lorraine has, less formally, been engaged in work related to diversity, equity, and inclusion for more than 20 years. She took part in Boston's Courageous Conversations on Race through City Mission, the Youth Advisor Program at City Reach, We the People's ABCs of Racism, Boston Pride Family Day, and Pride Parade, and was a guest speaker at the North Shore Boston Women's March. She is also a parent, member of the Equity and Social Justice Committees in Georgetown, Massachusetts, where she lives with her wife and children. So I want to welcome you, Lorraine, and it's been a process, and we're so happy to have you. She's going to be visiting the district this Friday, and I'll take her to meet some of the administrators. We know we have to be, social distancing and such, but just show the schools. And she's slated to start in our district on December 14th. So we look forward to her starting her journey in our district. So Lorraine, I'll turn it over to you if you'd like to say a few words.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Malone and Mr. Cleary and all of the members of the school committee who are here tonight. I'm very excited about the work that is ahead of us in the Air Shirley Regional School District. And I really was, when I saw the listing, as Dr. Malone mentioned, I was really drawn to the equity portion of the work. I've been able to work on social emotional learning and counseling in Chelmsford, and really saw this as such a great opportunity to have dialogue with students and parents and families and staff alike around the issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so I look forward to joining you on the 14th, to meeting many of you on Friday, albeit socially distant. But thank you so much for having me tonight, and I thank the school committee for its support in creating this position and working together with Dr. Malone and other staff and faculty members on creating the position. And I'm really excited and ready to get started, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, and we're glad to have you. And I'll see if I can't shake some time loose to meet you on Friday.
Wonderful. Thank you, Madam Chair.
socially distanced. Anybody else? Any comments or
Welcome.
anything?
We're very excited to have you. Very.
Thank you so much.
I'd just like to echo that. Dr. Malone speaks very, very highly of you. So we're excited to have you on board and to see how things progress in the district in this area. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
As you can see later on in the agenda, we have the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Subcommittee, Advisory Committee that we will be talking about. And as the chair of that committee, I look forward to talking with you and working with you on these issues. So welcome aboard.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? So thank you. We'll see you soon. Moving on to, I just lost my place. I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, I just like to
the
say
improvement plan by Dr. Christie, by Mr. Christie. Mr. Christie? The high school improvement plan, if you're ready.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Meyer and I are proud to present the 2020-2021 Air Shirley Regional High School Improvement Plan tonight. In this plan, we present 4 distinct goals for the high school to accomplish. The first 3 goals in this plan come from recommendations that were made to us by the NEASC visiting team in 2019 as a result of the collaborative conference. This spring, we had planned to host another NEASC team for a full decennial visit. As a result of the global pandemic, the NEASC office contacted me in early summer to ask if we could reschedule the visit until next year, with their plan being to visit us in the second half of that year. We agreed to a delay until next year and received an update today that NEASC has begun planning virtual visits to schools. We anticipate hearing from NEASC later this year to begin planning for our visit, which will now be in the fall of 2021. And that's the latest we have today. Mr. Tebow, could you actually scroll down just a bit? I believe it starts on about page 9. There we are. Beautiful. The first goal that we are setting in the school improvement plan is to fully develop a vision of the graduate. Last year, Mr. Gobellini, Mrs. Whitmire, Mr. Page, and I participated in a 2-day workshop at the NEASC offices in Burlington to gain knowledge on their feedback to us for the need for a vision of the graduate. In short, we will be developing, with the assistance of our recent alumni and current family, skills, which we will look to embed into our courses at the high school. The theory behind the need for a vision of the graduate comes from the idea of being explicit in our expectations of students around the need to acquire skills in high school that they will use in either a college or university setting or carrying directly into the world of work. This journey to create a vision of the graduate will enable us as a community to describe the skills we value most highly and to ensure that students will gain these skills during their time here. The second goal that we are continuing to build on is the excellent professional development. And again, Mr. Tebow, if you could scroll down just a bit. Just one more page, please. Thank you. We're hoping to build on the excellent professional development that Mr. Cleary has provided the district over the past few years. The professional development has altered in form. However, the vision of bringing relevant professional development that supports the design of instructional practices that will meet the learning needs of all students and engage learners in inquiry, problem solving, and higher order thinking skills, that has not changed. A few highlights from the beginning of this year include a workshop on implicit bias for the district, a workshop on higher order thinking in a remote/hybrid environment for high school staff, and today a wonderful workshop on positive attitudes by Dr. Adolph Brown for the entire ASRSD community. We intend to continue both the training and planning on how this targeted professional development can influence the desired student outcomes in our vision of the graduate. Again, Mr. Tebow, if we could scroll down just a bit, and just a little bit more, please. Thank you. Our third goal is to make sure that our Atlas Rubicon curriculum maps exist for courses and align with what we are currently teaching, both in terms of topics and pacing, as well as include the transferable skills that we are creating for the vision of the graduate. This work has been ongoing since the beginning of last year and will be a dedicated focus of our curriculum meetings for the rest of the year. Significant progress has occurred in many courses in many departments. However, we are focused on creating a full mapping system for the taught curriculum at the high school, which will again include the transferable skills in our vision of the graduate. And Mr. Tebow, if we could scroll down just a bit more. Beautiful, thank you. Our final goal for the year was not identified by the visiting NEASC team, but has been a focus area both at the high school and district levels. The fourth goal is to gain an increased understanding of cultural proficiency and to create a task force of adults and students committed to confronting deeply rooted biases that limit student outcomes. We view the need for the school to address these issues surrounding cultural proficiency as a high priority and have begun to take steps in order to see the school viewed as a safe space for all students. And those are the four goals that we plan on addressing this year within our school improvement plan.
Do people have questions for Mr. Christie? Or comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that it's good to see the areas that you're targeting here, but from my perspective, the fact that you're able to continue bringing students into the school and work with the teachers and bring instruction through everything that we're facing this year, if we surface on the other side, which we will in the spring, I would think that would be absolutely a phenomenal result. It's nice to press some of these other areas to try to make space, to try to make some gains in these areas, but I for one appreciate the work that's being done to try to let all the students have as much as they can this year from an academic, athletic, and social standpoint. Thank you, Mr. Christie and team.
Thank you, Mr. Quinty.
Anyone else? Mr. Christie, I'm sorry I don't have some of the jargon that you have in here. And could you tell me what Bloom's taxonomy is?
Sure. Bloom's taxonomy is a higher order of thinking, which ranges up to asking students to create. It's a breakdown for how both teachers and students can rate question choices and answer choices that they're given, and can begin to build on some of the lower level skills that they've been given at earlier grades, and can begin to truly develop those essential questions which we attempt to face throughout our lives.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Joyce, can I just make a comment?
Please do.
Mr. Christie, hi. I just wanted to thank you. I think these actually highlight some of the most important areas that need focus. All four goals, I think, are right on target, and I'm happy to see that they're what you're going to be working on this year. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Granger.
I'd just like to echo that these goals show that there's foresight in what you're trying to do at the high school with respect to developing the whole child, and developing people to be academics in some cases is important, but developing people, students, to be productive human beings in our society is even more important, and giving them the ability to establish habits of mind and higher order thinking skills, problem solving techniques is extremely important, and I applaud you for all four of those goals.
Thank you, Mr. Leone.
Mr. Christie, I agree with what everyone just said. We have to think about these kids beyond high school and setting a foundation and giving them all the skills and strategies to become strong adults. is so important beyond just the curriculum. They need to learn certain skills, but also to be able to apply them in different situations throughout their life. And this is where we build that foundation. I love the 4 goals. I think it's important. And I just want to thank everybody, because this is not an easy year to do anything, and to really put focus on things like this that are so important while we're still trying to educate kids in a pandemic. I applaud you and everyone else.
Thank you, Mrs. Simmons.
Yeah, so if I can just catch on to that, I think what I'm going to ask probably dovetails quite nicely with what Mr. Leone and Ms. Simmons have both said, but I'm guessing the survey of former alums, or not former alums, of alumni will sort of run the gamut of freshly graduated all the way up to someone who's in there, maybe even in their 60s, right? Just so that there's a varying perspective of what a graduate should be.
Thank you,
what
Mr.
they need.
Yes, so we've recently been able to cull together a list of freshly graduated alumni, and it's something that we're hoping to build more upon. Last year, we had noticed we did not have an extensive network to reach out to our past alumni. So that's been a goal of ours, really from the end of spring and moving forwards. We intend to create a list for each graduating class whereby we can continue to communicate with them as they go through various stages of life.
That's outstanding. I mean, certainly, even if you look 20 to 30 years back, there's a large group of Fort Devens people that are spread out all over the country, right? And then there is a group of people 20, 30, 50 years ago that are just still in Air and Shirley. So there's a great wealth of knowledge, both locally and internationally, I would assume at this point, to tap.
We completely agree, Mr. DeForge, and we're very excited to have Panthers from all generations take part.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for all the hard work.
Thank you so much.
I'll build on that a little bit. We all know that we're all stuck in this day-to-day detailed stuff. So to look forward and to reach up is really strong. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Ray-Schutz.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair,
I think we want to vote on this because it is a school improvement plan.
Joyce, Mary wants to say something.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I just want to thank Mr. Christie for his excellent presentation. And I also just want to comment that Mr. Christie and Mr. DeForge might be one of those alumni you reach out to.
Maybe.
I think Jonathan just volunteered, so it's okay.
Okay.
Excellent, Mr. DeForge. We'll be in touch.
You know where to find me.
I would entertain a motion to approve the Air Shirley Regional High School Vision, Mission, and Theory of Action and Strategic Levers for 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Second. And if Ms. Town would please call the roll.
Mr. DeForge,
Aye.
Mrs. Granger,
Aye.
Mr. Leone,
Aye.
Mr. Quinty,
Aye.
Mrs. Reschutz,
Aye.
Mrs. Simmons.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Moving on to proposed FY22 budget timeline, I'm sorry, FY21 proposed salary budget transfers by Mr. Plunkett.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. In your packet, we have 2 documents, 61 and 2 are the budget salary transfer budget memo and spreadsheet with the detail of all the different transfers. Is that time of year again when we budget, we place the money into a district level salary line, and then we move it into the specific salary accounts throughout the district. Once we have all the accounts established and everybody in the place the accounts are supposed to be in. This year we knew there was the second year of the teacher's contract. We added three new lanes. So we were going to need extra funds for that, and I'm glad we did. We used almost all the money we budgeted, $663,000 into that district level salary line. And you can see it online. Row number 2 in the detailed spreadsheet shows you where the 663,035 was. And we proposed transferring $617,228.20, leaving just $45,806.80 in that line. We're also transferring $17,000 from from the high school salary line to adjust for staffing changes we made there, for a total of $634,228.20 in salary budget transfers. Now, as you know, there's no net effect to the budget, as these are offsetting journal entries that, if approved, will not affect the overall bottom line of the budget. The salary, column 1, the total of all the salaries in our budget is $15,334,082, and the total operating and capital budget will remain unchanged at $30,594,308. Again, there is no net effect on the budget, but we do require a school committee vote for these transfers because the individual salary lines will be changing as a result of these transfers. So a vote is required.
Make a motion to, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was just going to ask if there was certain language we needed to use, or if we can just reference your memo.
Yeah, you could just reference the proposed salary budget transfers.
Okay. Go ahead, Joe.
Make a motion to accept the salary budget transfers as presented by Mr. Plunkett.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Does anybody have any additions or questions? Seeing none, I would ask Ms. Town to please call the roll.
Mr. DeForge?
Yes.
Mrs. Granger?
Aye.
Mr. Leone?
Aye. Aye.
Mr. Quinty? Mr. Quinty?
We.
Mrs. Reshoots?
Yay.
Mrs. Simmons?
Aye.
Cheryl has to bring us back down.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Does that help you, Mr. Plunkett? Did we just lose him? Does that help you, Mr. Plunkett?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have to comment on everybody's facial hair. Mr. Plunkett, Mr. Christie, is it like Movember or is it COVID? All right, sorry, go ahead.
No
move
Shave
on.
November fundraiser.
Okay. Go ahead, sorry.
No comment. Okay. So, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm losing my hearing here. The proposed budget timeline by Dr. Malone, please, for FY22.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And Mr. Tebow, please. So it is that time of year again. To Mr. Quinty's point, just the challenge of opening and running schools during a pandemic has certainly been a challenge, and sometimes we lose sight of running a business and our ordinary actions. And so tonight I present to you the FY22 proposed budget timeline. In the next few days or early next week, we will be sending out to all of the department heads our packet for them to conduct their budget needs assessment and to submit to us. Typically, Bill and I ask for it to be submitted to us before the holiday break. At which time, Bill and I typically meet during that break to start reviewing their submissions. Meetings December 1st and the 16th, we will have budget discussions with the committee. And again, if the committee has any considerations for the budget next year, we certainly would like to have those discussions and those proposals as we develop the FY22 budget. On January 20th, we will present to you a FY22 preliminary budget. And that is the third Wednesday in January. At such time, the governor is required to file the general appropriations January 20th. We're not sure what's going to happen. Right now, we're still waiting for the FY21 budget at the state. February 8th, this is a confirmed date for the budget presentation to the Shirley BOS in FinCom at 6 p.m. Mike McGovern, the town administrator, has confirmed that date with me. And February 9th, so February 8th is a Monday, February 9th is a Tuesday, and I'm waiting to hear back from Robert Pontbriand, the town manager in Air, to confirm that date. And then on March 2nd, we will do the final budget presentation and hold the public hearing at 6:30 p.m. And then on March 10th, the Regional School Committee would certify the FY22 budget. This is 45 days prior to the Air and Shirley annual town meetings, which they're both set. Shirley's is April 10th and Air is on April 26th. So I do want you to note that if we hold this meeting on March 10th, we could reschedule it from the March 17th. But as we know, as we work through the budget process, we can add meetings as we need them, if we need to, and such. So I'll take any comments or questions on the FY22 budget timeline.
Excuse me, Mary, what were the dates of the town meeting again?
Air is April 26th.
Okay, and May 10th, I'm sorry, I thought you said April 10th, I got confused.
No, and then Shirley is May 10th.
And they're pretty
This could all
solid on
be
that?
made this could all be made a little bit easier if the our friends in the State House could hold a little bit closer to their timeline and play nicer together, so we know exactly the numbers that we're working with.
Right. This is true. The one thing I will say about the district is, in a good financial standing right now, and certainly we won't be looking for any big curriculum purchases this year. As you know, each year we've been replacing our curricular resources, and so there are, our staffing is pretty solid as well. So I do anticipate that our budget this year will remain stable as far as what we're seeking. I think the district is in really good shape with staffing and programming and curricular resources, and so I think that's a good place to be.
Could I just ask that when we have these discussions, maybe we get a list of some of the capital projects? I know it's probably a little early for the capital projects that we try and do over the summer in June, but maybe some of those, or maybe some of the ones that we're looking at doing in the next 18 months, just to sort of jog our memories as to what we need to maybe factor in the budget.
We absolutely can. We certainly can give you an update to what's been completed. Right now, our last big project that we're working on is the boiler at Page Hilltop, and Mr. Plunkett is working hard. We have to work with the town of Air and some of those pieces and schedule meetings, but that is moving forward. And we'll be very pleased to present a capital project presentation too, because we've accomplished a lot around our facilities and our grounds over the last several years as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you, Jonathan. That would be a good review to do, to bring up and to show a bit. Anyone else? Thank you very much. And this is, who knows, it will change, but that's a start. Item F, 2021 superintendent's goals, Dr. Malone.
Sure. The committee has my goals in the draft, and as in past meetings, I won't read them to you. I'll say a couple of things. The focus indicators, so the Department of Education in Massachusetts sent out the guidelines and parameters for conducting educator evaluations this school year. They are moving forward. We are mandated to conduct them. And so the focus indicators for leading in 2020-2021 for administrators focus on curriculum, instruction, environment, HR management and development, family communication, and cultural proficiency. The goals that I had established last year, I continued with some of them because, obviously when school shut down, that everything else shut down in March. Continuing down, so we have a district action plan, and so it is my responsibility to monitor implementation of that and to show and to measure our actions and the growth and achievement of those. And so at the June meeting in 2021, I will present a progress report to you. The second goal, just scrolling down, please, Mr. Tebow, is on family communication. And I wanted to develop a marketing video of the district last year. I actually was doing a brochure, but most of the real estate agencies prefer videos. So we'll be completing that. Continue to hold Zoom meetings with parents. It's been very successful for communication. Also want to continue to ensure that all communications are available to families' home languages and are accessible, and then offer outreach to families using multiple strategies. For example, in the weekly update, I've been doing an audio recording because that is a different strategy. People are busy, and sometimes I know I have a long drive, and a lot of times I listen to things or make phone calls during that time. So if people want to click on the audio recording, if they prefer that modality of outreach, it's certainly there for them. Scrolling down, please, Mr. Tebow. HR and Management and Development. Mr. Tebow and I were going to work last year to formalize policies and procedures on student activity, grants, and food service. So we didn't get to reach that last year because, again, we know why. And then the last one is really the cultural proficiency goal. Mr. Christie spoke about it in his school improvement plan. And so this goal here is a district administrative goal. We're all working on completing an implicit bias self-assessment, discussing the results with my peers, and meeting at least monthly to discuss, explore, and implement culturally responsive practices. We will provide differentiated culturally responsive learning experiences that enable each child to access the curriculum and progress to a learning goal. So we're all working on this goal. And one of the actions is we're engaged in a book study on a book called Cultural Proficiency, a Manual for Administrators. If you could scroll down a little bit, Mike. And we'll be doing that through Google Classroom and discussions on Zoom. We have our first assignment, and we'll have our first discussion on December 2nd. And the measurement our outcome will be upon deep reflection of our collective and individual biases, inequities, and limitations of our school practices, identify 3 to 4 strategies, practices, and actions we will implement in the 2021 school year that will result in equity-driven change, and how we will shift culture, and how we will create more inclusive environments in which differences are embraced, would be the guiding questions for our work. And that completes my goal report.
Thank you.
If you have questions, I'd be happy
Any
to.
questions or comments from anyone, please?
The only thing that I'd like to, and it may be maybe not on your goals, but it might be a school committee goal, is that as we hopefully get through the springtime, and we're all expecting that in September 2021 we're going to go back to something that's much more what we're used to doing, that either you and your team or the school committee gets a chance to sit back over the next year and figure out what types of things did we learn in this remote environment that can help us when we're in person full time. There's got to be a couple of things that's going to help us to engage the student body, engage the parents, something. So somewhere in there, we're going to have to carve some space out to figure out how can we do it, because certain things, of course, are exceedingly difficult, but other things have worked better than we expected. So we're going to have to wrestle with that a little bit over the coming year.
Yes, excellent. We certainly will. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Michelle?
Sorry. No, I was just going to say, I think these look really good, Mary. Thank you.
All right. So this is just an update, and thank you very much. It gets us going. Is there any reason not to move on to the next item? Anybody have anything else? I don't want to cut people off. Okay. Item G, Mr. Leone, we are talking about dissolving the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Subcommittee. Mr. Leone, do you have a motion for that?
Yes. It's really a two-part, but the first item is to dissolve the present Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Subcommittee. But I say that with the purpose of initiating and establishing tonight a Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Advisory Committee, which I will go into more detail. But the first item needs to be that we dissolve the present Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Subcommittee. So I would like to make a motion that that we do that.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Is there any questions or discussion on that item? Seeing none, I would ask Michelle to call the roll, please.
Mr. DeForge,
Yes.
Mrs. Granger,
Unmute. Michelle.
Sorry, aye.
Mr. Leone.
Aye.
Oh, you moved. Sorry, but yeah, you have to. Sorry. Okay, Mr. Quinty,
Aye.
Mrs. Reshoots,
Aye,
Mrs. Simmons.
Aye.
thank you. Mr. Leone, would you like to go into the second item, please?
Yes. Mike Tivo, can I have a share ability?
Yep, sure can. Hold on just a minute.
Mr. Leone, your memo is in the drive. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I have it up. I can just share it myself, right?
Okay, sure.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay. So I would like to propose that we form an advisory committee with respect to equity, diversity, and inclusion. The advisory committee would be subject to open meeting laws. The advisory committee would consist of 6 members, 2 school committee members, 2 members from the community at large, and 2 ASRSD staff who need to be recommended by the superintendent. My suggestion is 1 administrator and 1 teacher. The advisory committee would meet once a month and discuss issues pertaining to school policy, professional development, education programs designed to ensure equity, diversity, and inclusion, and to plan presentations and discussion items. The work of the advisory committee would be ongoing. I don't see there being an end to this. Having a goal is good, but equity, diversity, and inclusion are not going away. These are issues that need to be addressed, I think, permanently, or certainly for the future. And I don't think that we should put a time limit on this advisory committee. The term of appointees, however, should be for 1 year, and we can revisit the members of the committee at the end of the year. So that is my proposal. I'm hoping for ideas, suggestions, agreement, whatever.
Mr. Leone, are you making that a motion, and then we can have it seconded, and then we can discuss it?
Yes, that is a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Granger, and then we'll open the floor for questions and discussions, please.
Joe?
Yes.
Hi. So I like this. This is great. I like that it's going to be 6 people that can really focus on some very clear actions. My suggestion would be that one of the school members, of course, would be Mrs. Wilson, who is going to be overseeing well, part of her job is overseeing, you know, diversity, equity, inclusion. So that would be my suggestion. It sounds like she wants to be involved anyway. And that's about it. I think this is great. I think we all, the whole community wants to see some real regular movement with this. And it's been tough because of the pandemic especially. But I'm feeling like after this year, I'm hoping for more smooth sailing, as we all are, as vaccinations linger. So I think this is really great.
There was a question in the chat about the year. Would it be a calendar year or the school calendar year? And I would make the suggestion that we're starting right now with the appointments, but I would suggest that maybe we look at it as a school calendar year, as not a not 1 year, then trying to remember what the date was that we started.
Does it make sense for that year to start in the summer? To talk about?
I'm open to that. I really don't know what I was thinking. The group that we appoint now would take us until next June or September whenever we decide. So this would be probably more than a year for the group that we're establishing tonight.
What if we were to do it to mirror our fiscal year, like our school year, like starting July 1 to June 30th?
That would be fine.
Yeah.
That gets you like the school year for sure.
So I would just add, I thought I saw in Attorney Bresnahan's letter to us that it was supposed to be done at our reorganization meeting, which is typically the first meeting after both elections in town. But I have no problem with the length. I just I want to make sure that we're following his guidance as well. But I also have no problem starting July 1st because that's a clean sort of cut. We typically reorganize in May, and that can be kind of a weird timing.
Could we, at that reorganization meeting, reappoint people? Oh God, sorry. That would start July 1st. Like we could take up the subcommittee at that point, but their role wouldn't start until July 1st. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it needs to start by July 1st, just because you need this group of people to be thinking about how to kick off that school year leading up to that school year. So, and with vacations and things like that over the summer, it would give them some time to really look into how to start the year with any kinds of activities or whatever it is.
Joe, do you have any thoughts? The two members from the community at large, were you thinking one from Mayor, one from Shirley? I personally don't think it matters much. Or how would we do outreach so we could, so you could decide who the community members would be?
I have two nominations for after we approve this. I have two nominations that the committee, because we have been meeting as a large committee. Having open meetings for a large group of people that have been participating, and the email group nominated two people, and I will be bringing them forward once we establish the advisory committee.
Great, thank you.
So, Joe, I take it that even though the advisory committee is only 6 people, the meetings will still be open and encouraging that large group of participation that we already have. This is just sort of more formally structuring the leadership of it.
Yes, my original thought on this, and I was corrected by Attorney Bresnahan, was that the 6-member meeting, the 6-member group would meet once a month by themselves to plan things. And then we would have one open meeting for discussion and presentation of ideas, because there's a lot of members on the committee, as Jake had indicated earlier, that have brought forth presentations that they want to do. But we've already been working through a number of presentations at our meetings, and so we have to put them in sort of some kind of order that we want to address them in. But my hope was that the 6-member committee would be able to meet and plan all that stuff, sort of more of a planning board for what we do at the open meetings, and then discuss any of those items that we bring up. But being informed that that meeting has to be an open meeting as well, we would have the open meeting for planning, which would be the required members would be the 6 members. Obviously, anyone else that wishes to join in has that right. The larger open meeting that would be for discussion of ideas that pertain to equity, diversity, and inclusion.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Joe, do you think you need to add another line to that the intention of the advisory committee would be to have a second meeting of the month for presentations? What you doing within that one meeting?
No, I would not be opposed to having that added in there. No.
Because I think that pretty well states that there's an intention to do that. Otherwise, it may get lost. So
I'm not sure you really want to put that in, to
okay.
be honest. I would just keep it more open-ended, because if you're not always having a second meeting of the month, or if we have 2 meetings and it's for different topics and not necessarily presentations, I'm not sure you'd want to.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I that this.
Oh.
We lost you, Joe.
Jonathan?
Oh, no, I just said dough while I didn't realize it was on mute. He froze up right when he was talking about something important.
Locks us into at least one.
Okay, right.
So, Joe, you kind of froze up right at the beginning when you started talking. Would you mind repeating, please?
Blah, 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 blah. Hey, like, I'm going to be 70 soon, so don't my memory. I don't know.
It's worse.
I think that we can have more than one meeting. This allows us to do that. We don't need to put it in there.
Okay. So it seems like that the intention right now is to move right into the advisory committee and then go to that schedule of reorganization when we reorganize the school committee. Is that where we're going?
In terms of like for time limits, term limits in terms of people being on the committee.
Yeah, so the people right now that you're going to propose would go until the reorganization of the school committee.
Yes, and my hope is that that we would renominate them for the next year at that point. Yes.
Reorganization, if you want to.
Yes.
Okay. Is that clear?
Yes.
Does that sound clear? Okay. Anyone else? So there's a motion on the floor by Mr. Leone to establish the advisory committee, and there is a seconded. If there's no more comments or suggestions, Ms. Town, would you please call the roll?
Mr. DeForge?
Yes.
Mrs. Granger?
Aye.
Mr. Leone?
Aye.
Mr. Quinty?
Aye.
Mrs. Reshoots?
Aye.
Mrs. Simmons?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you.
Want to make those nominations when you
Yes.
that
So
in that?
The two school committee members, I would like to nominate Michelle and myself. Do we need to vote on that?
We probably need to hear the whole slate, maybe.
Yeah, Madam Chair, if I may interrupt, I'm sorry, but you do have to, the school committee does have to vote on the members.
Yes, I know. But
Right, do we need all
all the
six?
members, not just two at a
Do we
time?
do it separately? I don't know the protocol.
Okay, I would just do it as a whole slate.
Okay, and then two community members at large, Chara Latimer and Michelle Laflamme. And I don't have the school, the ASRD personnel, so I would pass that to Dr. Malone.
Yeah, so now that the committee's been formed, the advisory committee, I will send out a communication to the staff with the guidelines and take any interest from the staff, and then bring back the recommendations at the next school committee meeting.
Okay, so then can we vote on the four members that that I proposed or nominated?
Well, I think
That's just what I was going to suggest.
I think Cheryl had made a recommendation for one of the members.
Yes.
Yeah, but it needs to come from Dr. Malone.
It needs to come from the administration.
Okay.
I think,
Dr. Malone?
Yes.
Sorry. This, I know that Mrs. Wilson is not starting until December 15th. Can we check with her to see if she is interested in being one of the community members? I think it's pretty important that she be involved.
I can certainly, I would like to be able to give her that, that to have that discussion with her before.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll be seeing her. I'll be seeing her on Friday.
Okay.
I also agree.
Voting. Sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. All I was going to say is I don't want her. I mean, it would be wonderful if she can do it, but she certainly can be part of the group without being, one of the six. So I do want to make sure she's aware that we're not trying to pressure her, because this is after, an evening out of school meeting. So I agree that I would love to see her be one of the two, but it wouldn't prohibit her from being a member of the committee if, she just wouldn't be a, officer, for lack of a better term. So I just wanted to throw that out there to Dr. Malone when she has the conversation with her.
Sure, thank you.
yeah, I would just add that I think it's probably just sufficient to do the 4 tonight, and then at our next meeting, do the next 2, just to make sure that everyone has an opportunity who wants to sort of volunteer their time. That's fine as well. And then I think we can still, it's only 2 weeks. That's a good, that won't be too long, right?
Right.
And I don't think that should affect our meeting that we have scheduled for tomorrow night.
So, Mr. DeForge, if you just want to continue and make the motion that we do the two school, the A and B tonight for the advisory committee.
Yes. So hopefully I get the names correct for the community members. But so I'll make a motion that we nominate Mr. Joe Leone and Ms. Michelle Granger from the school committee, and Ms. Cheryl Latimer and Ms. Michelle Laflamme from our school committee to our newly formed Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Committee.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other additions or comments from anyone? Ms. Town, if you would call the roll, please.
Mr. DeForge,
Yes.
Mrs. Granger,
Aye.
Mr. Leone,
Aye.
Mr. Quinty,
Aye.
Mrs. Reshoots,
Aye.
Mrs. Simmons.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Joe. That was very good.
Joyce, Mr. Watkins just popped in the chat that it was Sierra Latimer. Yes. So my apologies for that.
Mine as well.
So I guess, do I need to re-motion her, or how do we want to do that? Just to make sure I have the
We all know who you meant. So I'm fine.
It'll be corrected in the minutes.
Thank you.
Right.
It's fixed in the minutes right now.
Fixed in the minutes right now.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Our next item is the regional agreement. I think we're going to postpone that until the next meeting. It's pretty involved, and it's one of these wonderful things that we will just wait to do that. We'll move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Malone, update on transition to phase 2.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Excellent. Mr. Tebow, could you bring up the PowerPoint, please? Okay, thank you. So tonight, I'm going to give an update on the transition and how we're doing in phase 2. Could you go to the next slide, please, Mike? Before I do that, I have our nurse leader, Renee Payne, and she's going to give you the COVID data and the context of COVID in our schools and what we're working on. So please welcome Mrs. Payne.
Welcome, Renee.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. So I just want to start with some of the data that we've been collecting. The nurses have done a great job at keeping the cases. We do have spreadsheets that we, monitor and add people to it daily. These numbers are just numbers that we are been made aware of. They're not always, I do think they might be slightly higher just because people could go and get tested and we may not know about it. I think their quarantines are pretty accurate because we've been made aware that they're either not going to be in school. So I do think most of this information is pretty accurate, with the exception of the testing. A staff member or a student could go and get tested and we just might not be aware of it. But the ones that we have logged or been reported, these are the information, our last school committee in which we reported this out in October. So that was about 4 weeks ago. So in that time frame, you can see certainly our numbers have gone up as far as who's been tested. So 90 staff or students, and this includes all the buildings. It's broken down to the 20 staff and 70 students. And then when it comes to the quarantine, this is a quarantine of somebody that has been identified as a close contact, somebody who may present ill. We've been really working hard at trying to identify who really needs to quarantine, because I think I've mentioned in previous meetings that it is a challenging time for all of us, and sometimes people will identify themselves as being a close contact, and once we're able to kind of talk to them or talk with the Board of Health, they're not really considered a close contact at that time when we break it down. When were they infectious? When were they around the person? But this number 35 is a pretty accurate reading as far as the district goes in the schools. Next slide, please, Mike. So since our last meeting, I was able to first say that we had no COVID cases, and that in the 4 week span, we have had 6. It's been 2 staff members and 4 students. They've been broken down by the schools. So Page Hilltop right now currently hasn't had any, and I need to find some wood to knock on. It's one of those things. We knew it's coming. It's out in the community. We certainly are aware of it. I do think we're doing a really great job at really making sure that we have PPE. We're sanitizing, wiping things down. Kids are wearing masks. They're doing a great job at that. We're not hearing complaints on that. I feel like there's a lot of things that we've done. The 6-foot distancing, our desks are 6 feet apart. We started with the lunch. We have plexiglass up. I definitely feel like we're doing a good job. So when I see 6, I'm not panicking. It's just something that we have to continue to monitor and make sure with the guidance of Board of Health and DESE that we're doing everything correctly. But that's the numbers since our last meeting. Next slide, please, Mike. So this is the data. Again, I used the same slides as last time just so you guys could compare each school committee meeting. So the week from October 20th to 11/16, that's the newer one since our last school committee in which I had presented. And it's broken down a little bit from the high school, so who was COVID tested and who was quarantined. And then we did Page Hilltop, who had tested and how many had quarantined. I think that's it on this one. Mike, next slide, please. And then this one is for Shirley, so it's got the middle school and Laura White and the same thing, COVID testing and then the number of quarantines. And it's broken down so you can see if it's staff or students. And next slide. And I know at one of the school committees, I was asked how many kids had been vaccinated. We did just do a flu clinic for students. It was for 6 months to 18 years old. We did it at Page Hilltop. And I completely booked the clinic. We had 50 families come and we did vaccinate. We had 5 families that were on a waiting list. And so I had consulted the Board of Health to see if we could do another one. But they're doing other schools too. They serve, the Neshoba Boards of Health serve 16 communities. So they had, they have one for Littleton, they had other schools. So they said the 5 families that were on the waiting list to send an email to and let them know that they could bring their children right to the Board of Health and they could be vaccinated. So I did do that. So at this point, I feel like we hit a good chunk. And, I'm hoping, I haven't had any that have reached out that said they haven't been able to find, a flu shot anywhere for their children. But if that does seem to be an issue, I do think the Board of Health will help us to get everybody up to date if we can. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Renee. And at this point, we'll stop. And if any of the school committee members would like to ask Renee any questions about the data that's been presented. That have been presented, I should say.
I don't have a question. I just have a thank you for Renee. This has to be an extremely cumbersome and challenging undertaking. The contact tracing, the notification. I can imagine. And I just want to thank you for all your hard work that you're putting in. This is definitely not easy. So thanks.
Thank you. No, I appreciate
I think Michelle speaks for all of us. And there was a thing that came up with the governor today is issuing these instant tests, so you don't have to test the whole school, but a kid that comes in that's not feeling well, you can, or a staff person, you can find out if it's COVID or not within what was the time period? And they're issuing those to the school free of charge to the districts. So I don't know if they're out yet, but how sometimes they that before they're available.
I did see that they're starting in phases, and phase 1 had started. It is for certain groups of certain school districts. And so I think eventually it will hit all the schools, but they're starting, I believe it was 129 school districts that they're trying to see if this is something that would benefit schools. But I do eventually think we'll all have them.
Thank you.
There was criteria that school districts had to meet to be eligible for that. But
Right.
there's also, if we were to have, what we thought would be a breakout on our schools, they would send what's called the rapid test van, Renee, if we requested it.
Yep.
So we have that option as well.
And that was something when we had a couple of cases at the middle school. That was one thing that I had asked when I spoke to the Board of Health, and they had me call Boston, and I spoke with an epidemiologist to determine if we needed to have that at that moment. And because it was our first couple of cases, and I wanted to make sure we were handling it correctly. And they said at the time, it seems alarming because it's our first, one or two, but they really look a lot at if the transmission was happening within the school, if it's affecting, if it's being brought into the building. There was a lot of questions that went along with it. And at that time, they had thought we were doing a good job and that it wasn't necessary, but that, I think each case, and if we get multiple ones, whether it's in a day or a week, it's something that I would always inquire about. It's free, and if they're willing and able to do that, it would be something we would like.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Dr. Malone?
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. So we're providing you tonight, I think you've all seen it, the new color-coded metric from COVID Command. And what they did is they disaggregated cases being reported by the population. And so both Air and Shirley were in the under 10,000 population in that column. And the other thing I want to point out is the commissioner, and I'm sure with advice from the experts, for regional school districts, they told each regional school district which town would be the guide for cases in being which zone, and for us it is Air. So if you're looking at this under 10,000, if you have more than 25 total cases, you would be in the red, less than or equal to 25 in the yellow, less than or equal to 15 green, less than or equal to 10 in the gray. Next slide, please, Mr. Tebow. And so each week we track what's happening in the district, and we send the information to the school committee, and we submit it to the parents. And so you could see through the 12th, Air was, for a couple of weeks, they were in the yellow, and now they're in the gray, or what they call the unshaded. Next slide, please. I know many are aware, in Shirley, for the last week, Shirley went red based on the population and the number of cases. It is important to note that some of those cases were in the prison, and certainly some were in the community as well. And so now they give the data on like Thursday evenings, and so we try to get out on Fridays. Next slide, please. And just, a reminder about, how will the district determine moving from one model to another. I sent a quite lengthy memo to the teachers this last week, and talked about, that this phase that we're in right now, phase 2 is where we'll be. What I anticipate where we'll be for quite a while until, things change with COVID, a vaccine, when it's safer to be physically distanced less than 6 feet. And of course, the transportation mandates would have to be lessened. So any decision would certainly be guided by consultation from the Neshoba Associated Boards of Health. I can't speak enough for them as well. And of course, Renee and the nurses in our schools are doing a great job, but the Neshoba Associated Board of Health, particularly the director, Jim Greffi, and Renee works with a couple of the nurses there as well. They're very responsive. They call us right back. They will speak directly when we've had any cases to determine close contacts. They want to speak firsthand. with the individual who may be, you know, if it could be a coach or whatever. And so they do an excellent job. And so they certainly, we follow their guidance and recommendations. Next slide, please. One of the things I wanted to show you this evening is where we stand again between hybrid and remote now that we're in phase 2. Pretty much stayed the same. A few more of the high school students went to remote, left hybrid and went to remote. So it's staying pretty stable. As you can see, our total enrollment is down. As I showed you in other presentations, we have more students homeschooling as well. And and this is an enrollment is something that all districts are experiencing. You know that our kindergarten numbers are down, our preschool numbers are down, and those attribute to lower enrollment. Kindergarten is not required. School districts are required to provide half-day sessions to students. And of course, preschool, we do have our integrated program. Next slide, please. I wanted to just update you on the learning models. And Mr. Quinty, to your point, we have several learning models being practiced in the district. The question we will still need to answer once we are through the pandemic and back to traditional schooling is what models worked for students. Did we see higher achievement and increased student engagement for students with 2 days of asynchronous learning, remote learning, hybrid model, live streaming? So Mr. Quinty, that is certainly something we will reflect on when we get through this. At our elementary hybrid model, which many of you are familiar with. We do have some teachers that live stream the off-day cohort. So when Panthers are in, the prize students are in an asynchronous day, but some of those teachers do live stream those students in. Many of them hold a morning meeting with the off-day cohort. We have some counseling services and presentations on off-day cohort students. We do have students that are doing the asynchronous learning, and I think we're doing a good job at it. We have students following a schedule to make it much easier for parents and students to be organized. So if you're asynchronous and from 9 to 9:30 you have mathematics, you would complete the work or tasks that are assigned during that class. At the middle and high schools, of course, we have the hybrid model. We have the live streaming of off-day cohort in some classrooms as well. And we have the asynchronous learning for the half-day cohort 2 days per week. And what's nice about it is it's not consecutive days. So the students, you know, if they work independently for one day, they're with their teacher the next day, or they're in a full remote day on Wednesday. And then our teachers, I'm sorry, back to the elementary. So at the elementary, our remote learning academy students are taught by assigned teachers. So for example, at Page Hilltop, we have 2 of those kindergarten teachers are doing remote learning due to the numbers. And teachers, when we established that we would provide an in-district education, if you will, to our remote learning students and not put them on a learning management system, teachers volunteered to do the remote learning. And so it's worked very well. We did hire 1 teacher in first grade for students, and we did let parents know that in the elementary level in particular, that when you choose to, or if you chose to move back to the hybrid model, you may not have the same teacher. So we made that clear so that we don't want people, you know, to get upset with us that they would have to change teachers. And then of course, at the middle and high schools, all of our remote learning academy students are live streamed into our classrooms since we moved to phase 2. So very proud of all the teachers and administrators, the nurses. You know, I've been getting a lot of good positive feedback from community members, from parents. Very happy with our educational program that we have. So we all should be proud.
If I can just interrupt for 1 second, I think one of the neat things that we've been able to do, probably more in the enhancements or specials, is like I know my daughter, you know, obviously in Shirley has Miss Gravel for help, and sort of is, you know, crossing those lines, and I don't know if there's other teachers that are doing that, but I think that's really cool that we're able to, you know, sort of intermix the kids before 6th grade now.
Yeah, we've gotten quite creative, and of course we had about 18 teachers who requested accommodations due to their personal situations, and we granted every single request. And we were able to make it work. You know, Mr. Gubalini and Mrs. Ochap at the high school, they live stream into their classrooms, which is, you know, I use the word cool. I think the models, it's pretty cool what we're doing, and you know, how we're managing these different models. And you know, sometimes some of our parents may be, you know, it takes a while to get things running, and to you know, start it, get feedback, and then make those improvements. So everybody's done a great job, and everybody's working hard. And you know, this is hard. I mean, I've been saying the word hard since March 16th. Actually, I was saying today, this actually
challenges.
Yeah, this actually started back in mid-February. You know, for me as a school superintendent, when I started to cancel after-school activities and things. So really, this has been ongoing now since mid-February for school districts. On Friday night, as you know, I'm on Twitter, and there was one of those little, you know, sayings or whatever, and it said, superintendents, have a good weekend, and just remember, no one wants your job. So anyhow, next slide, please. And then we want to, you know, with the Department of Education has also indicated with the educator evaluation that we will be administering MCAS. So just wanted to provide you a highlight of the dates. The students that didn't take it last year as 10th graders will have to take the legacy MCAS this year as 11th graders. That's slated to be administered between January 14th and February 5th. And then we have Access, which is testing for English learners. That's the regular schedule has always been early January through February. And then the ELA, the next generation for our students in grades 3 through 8, the time frame is still the same as it was in prior years, starting around mid-April and going through early May. So this is the testing schedule, and I've said this for years. I started working in the MCAS in 1999. The school council organized in schools, and you know, we're doing our best to teach learning standards, and that's my communication to the teachers. Each grade has a set of learning standards that are designed to prepare students to the next grade level. And if we're teaching those standards and we're looking for mastery, we really need to worry about the test. So, and really, we're focused on relationships and with our students. And, you know, we want A, our students to feel safe. B, we want our students to be happy. And then C, we want to make sure we provide a good education. Next slide, please. And then I just wanted to highlight some of the work we've done around the diversity, equity, and inclusion. Again, you know, things take time. You know, trying to open a school system under a pandemic and manage all of the things that had to be managed was certainly challenging. I think, Joyce, I know the challenging, hard, difficult, but we have to do. So, you know, we don't want any student of any race or culture experience bullying, racism, or harassment. Each school has started their DEI task force composed of students and faculty. We've hired the director of equity and school counseling. And for the district administrators, we have a district-wide professional practice goal focused on cultural proficiency. And teachers have been encouraged as well to adopt or adapt the goal, and many of them have. And so, next slide, please. Today we held the presentation, Attitude Changes Everything. It's by Dr. Adolph Brown. The presentation was for students in grades 4 through 12. Dr. Brown is on Twitter. For those of you that are on Twitter, he's actually tweeted out our district today. He typically, you know, we've seen him presenting to educators. Saw him a couple of summers ago down at the Mass Association of School Superintendents Executive Institute. And I contacted him to see about speaking to students, which he does, and he did. It was excellent. It was from 9 to 10 today, and we had everybody Zooming in, and the students really, he really reached the students. So, and the objectives were to learn how to operate from inside a positive attitude, whereby your body language sends out unmistakable cues of openness, and learn how your attitude can infect the people who see you with the same behavior.
Dr. Malone, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is it possible for that to be viewed now could it be put on, was it recorded and could it be viewed in any way?
No, his contract doesn't allow for it to be
Okay.
recorded. We couldn't, sorry.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Next slide, please. Curriculum resources are provided in Atlas Rubicon. We have teaching tolerance, facing history and ourselves, Anti-Defamation League work to support staff in pursuing topics. And we still need to work on conducting an audit of a curricula for bias, and we need to embed teaching and learning on racial justice, and we will examine policies in the student handbooks for bias. So those are a couple of actions that we will get to. But next slide, I think that's the last slide. Oh, no, snow days. So we kind of wrestled with, as you know, inclement weather. We're going to pivot to remote learning. And so to make it easier for parents, and I've put this out publicly to the teachers and to parents, that a remote day will be, a snow day will be a remote learning day based on the Wednesday schedule, which we will follow the early release schedule. The only exception is preschool, and they have a different schedule, and I will communicate that to parents, and those preschool teachers have already communicated to parents what the snow day, remote learning snow day schedule would be. Next slide, please. The other exception is the commissioner has said if we have a widespread power outage that we would obviously not be able to have school. I've been asked questions about, well, what if I live in another town and I don't have power? I mean, there's always different scenarios that can contribute, but really the guide for me, the threshold would be a widespread power outage that we wouldn't have school.
Mary, I would just like to let you know that in our house, this is a most unwelcome development. There is much joy when you get up and we hear your voice on the telephone saying that you get to stay home and play in the snow. And now knowing that that's not going to happen is not making the Quinty family very happy.
Well, that's why we said, let's follow the early release schedule so then the students can get outside to play. And honestly, that was a consideration. But when I think about it this year, and I think about how hard and difficult this year is, people are exhausted. I mean, we're all exhausted, whether we're in education or what. This has been very on all of us. So I think that when June 17th rolls around and the last day of school is here, rather than another 5 days added on for snow, I think the students will say, "Oh, now I'm really happy." And so won't teachers. So, as well. Next slide, please.
I think that's the last one. I do have a question.
Is that it? Okay, can remember. Okay, that completes. And then I just have a sports update from Mr. Kendall, and then we'll be done. He wrote that the fall sports was a great success, had over 150 student athletes. Golf team had outstanding season. Senior Ian Keene led the way. Ian and Zoe Saldana did a great job of providing leadership for the team. Peter Gubellini was also instrumental in getting the season started. And we know that the coaches, Pete Page and Mark Goodrich, did a fabulous job. Cross country was a huge success. Despite the youngest team in memory, the boys were very competitive and showed great improvement. Middle schoolers Jake Leone and Jack Holden showed drastic improvement over the season and finished at the top 5 at the Pod 9 meet. The girls were led by the trio of Neve Fallon, Gwen Connors, and Annika Preston, who finished 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at the Pod 9 championships. The girls placed 2nd, just a couple of points behind Tohoto. And again, another great job by our fabulous coaches, Chris Donovan and Mike Segrin. Girls soccer team had a great year under coaches Justin Carlson and Savon Pierce. Thank you to the 10 seniors who have led the program with dignity and class. Kaylin Pierce, Grace Forrest, Olivia Hendrickson, Allie Hood, Jamie Kostakowski, Nicole Matthews, Courtney Niedermeyer, Kara O'Neill, Catherine Quinty, and Cordelia Street. The girls will play in the Pod 9 championship game next Monday or Tuesday. The JV team had a great year and looked to be filled with future varsity standout players. Thank you to all the 8th graders. Boys soccer had a great year, showing improvement despite a very young and inexperienced team, while the JV showed tons of promise for the future. and they were led by seniors Fayed Bashir, Joe Gauntlet, Dylan Granberg, and Ethan Ortoliani. JV team was made up of players in grades 7 and 9 and had one of their most successful seasons to date. So very thrilled to have the coaches. Mark Justo back manning the varsity team, while Sam Elzmarzari did a good job with the JV kids. Unified Disc Golf program is a huge success thanks to the efforts of Nate Diffin, who oversaw the program. The students team of Nick Dutton, Matt and Ryan Marchand, David Audette, and Courtney Niedermeyer defeated the teacher team, which consists of Mr. Lindstreth, Dr. Meyer, Mr. Christie, Mr. Moore, and Mrs. Melanson. 19 middle school students participated in an intramural soccer program. And according to Coach Allie Began, they had a great time. The football team is about to complete a successful practice season, and the players have had time to bond with the new coaching staff led by Jermaine McKenzie. And the team has participated in a number of volunteer events as well. Most recently, the Shirley Scout Food Drive last weekend. And Mr. Kendall wishes to thank everyone for their flexibility during the season. Big thanks to Nate Diffin for his professionalism and making sure all COVID rules were followed, Mrs. Rocco, Mrs. Crawford, and Coach Mike LeClaire for their help during the games to keep people safe. Although there was always room for improvement, the season went incredibly well. And Mr. Kendall is proud of the way everyone came together and adjusted to the new rules and guidelines. And we're awaiting approval from the MIA on winter sports, and I will be bringing that to you hopefully at the next school committee meeting. And this completes the report for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Malone. If I could put a footnote on that, since it was in Mr. Kendall's report, the football coaches led by Mr. Kinsey all came to the food drive. I don't think they knew what they were getting into since they worked constantly from 1 to 5 and with no stops, no breaks, keep going. And they brought 2 students with them and all the coaches were there. It was fantastic. Thank you very much to the football team. Anyone else? Any questions, any additions to Mary's wonderful report?
I just have a quick question about MCAS.
That's a good question.
So Dr. Malone, that MCAS, is that going to be done online? And like, how will that work as far as the cohorts? Will they be doing it when they're in the building or will they be doing it from home?
They have to take it in person.
Okay.
And we're still working on those logistics. Mr. Cleary and Mr. Christie are working on that, and they'll get that information out to parents in short order.
Okay, just curious how that was going to operate. Thank you.
Oh, that's a very good question. Thank you.
The remote kids too?
The remote kids too.
So they have to come in person to take the test?
Yes. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to go over. Okay.
I think it's ridiculous. I have no doubt our students would do well, but they're already losing 10 days of instructional time. Dealing with MCAS is more than just taking the test. It takes up all kinds of time from staff. It's, you know, how we're going to manage with different hybrids and remote kids and that whole thing. I'm disappointed in the state for making this decision.
Well, I don't see how they can force remote kids to go in person to take these tests. They've chosen to be remote all year long for medical reasons and whatever and to make them go in, I just don't see that happening.
I agree with Joe, and if you get a chance to talk to the commissioner or his office, tell him that as this gets closer, I think they're going to see a considerable amount of pushback for kids that have elected fully remote. So I'm not sure they fully understand how loud this is likely to get.
Right.
I'm just not sure either. Mr. Cleary, would you like to add anything?
Sure. The state that, to the point, Michelle, that you were making about that testing window in January, that is and every student is expected to pass to earn their competency determination in order to earn their diploma. So they have to pass an MCAS in order to do that. So the intention is for our 11th graders to take as many opportunities as they can to participate. So that's where that January one comes from. And to the point about the remote students, totally understand the state has not provided any specific recommendations yet relative to remote students. The testing window, that January testing window, is listed as, you know, where we want our kids to participate in it. But ultimately, if a parent says, I don't want my kid to participate in it, then we have to honor that, recognizing, however, that the student is still going to be expected to pass an MCAS before they earn a diploma. So that's the piece that plays into it. It's not perfect, and we're still working out a lot of the details on that.
Yeah, and I'll just add this, Michelle, I'm sorry, but we, you know, at this time, there aren't any retests scheduled until next year. It's my understanding, so we would definitely probably recommend, not probably, we recommend if this is how it's going to be for students to take it, you know, so then they know that they've met that piece for getting a diploma. I'm sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. So that legacy piece, the 11th graders, they're taking it because they missed it as the 10th graders. As 11th graders, they wouldn't normally take it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I guess I just want to, you know, make the observation that what about the districts that are fully remote? How are those kids going to, I mean, I'm just throwing, I mean, you obviously don't have the answer, but it's just an interesting, you know, situation, because there are school districts that aren't even in person at all. They're going to have to bring the kids in to do MCAS. It'll be interesting to see how it's handled.
If I may interject on this, Mary, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's just, you know, it's a lot of work for those of us in the district to try to figure this out. And when you don't have clear and direct guidance, and it's, you know, halfway through November, January is going to be here very quickly.
Right.
If we go back to the Massachusetts Association of School Committees, the first resolution, and I may not go through those tonight, but the first resolution was MCAS and high stakes testing, and it was voted at the meeting that MCAS rejects the calls for students. They do not want them to have to, the 10th graders have to make it up, and they additionally they reiterate the call for moratorium on all high stakes testing for the 2021 school year, so all students can benefit from their time being focused on direct instruction. And we urge the legislature to enact a moratorium on high stakes testing for 3 years. There was a big discussion about the 3 years, but so the Massachusetts Association of School Committees will be working towards maybe not doing that schedule that was just announced. So I think it may be a floating target. We'll have to see how it goes. Exactly.
Yeah, well, each year when we come back with some of the resolutions they pass, they have some of those which I call windmill resolutions in a quixotic extent.
Well, Mr.
So
Quinty, as usual, has his attitude.
I'm just saying they're far-reaching and they have some goals on the horizon, but a lot of those things never seem to come to fruition. But I'm not saying I'm not in sentiment with them. I'm just saying it's tough to turn a big boat around.
Well, I think to turn off a whole last quarter of your school and then expect kids to be tested on that content, I think is very difficult as to what the results will be.
Right. Ms. Cleary just reminded me too that the testing is a federal requirement as well as a state requirement. So there's 2 layers to go through. As you know, last year the federal requirement was not mandated, and then the commissioner was able to go to the state. So it's not just a state requirement or regulation.
But then it could be up to the states to make requests to the federals. I mean, this could go up the ladder.
Right. So right now we're in a position.
And we don't know where it's going to be.
No, we don't.
It's good to know that MASC is behind it, and I think that there'll be a lot of pushback from towns on that. I don't think this is over by a long shot.
Well, we are going to be judged on the test results, and we didn't have the last quarter of school. So how does, it's not good for anybody at this point.
We don't know anything about the accountability piece now. They haven't really given us a lot of information, so there's a lot of unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted, we did have the last quarter of school though. And our teachers were working really hard in the last quarter of school too. So we weren't in person and those were trying times, but we did go a full school year last year.
Right.
Yes.
Does that do it for you, Mary? Thank you very much. Ongoing business, a formal complaint resolution on the Air Shirley High School field. Dr. Malone.
Mike, if you could bring up the memo, please. I received this, the district received it, and so I just want the public to know why we have the bleachers cordoned off in the press box. No, this isn't the right form. Sorry, that's not the right letter.
Oh, it's like 5 pages long though, isn't that?
No, I'm sorry. I must have sent the wrong thing to Michelle. I'll take responsibility. Anyhow, so they sent a letter, which they named it the complaint resolution, which states that we've agreed to cordon off, and there was pictures and everything too with it.
It's in here, Mary. If you keep scrolling, there's something dated October 20th.
Oh.
A letter to Peter
Oh, yeah,
Mello.
I'm sorry, yeah, go ahead, Don. There's a lot going on. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so the bleacher and press box will remain closed off to the public until funding for rebuild or upgrade of the recreational fields and facilities can be reviewed and approved. And so we had photos there, and then the complainant went back to Mr. Lesser. We received a call from the attorney the other day that said we hadn't cordoned off the home side bleachers, correct, Mr. Plunkett? Which we did. So all of the bleachers are cordoned off. They're not accessible. Nobody can go in the press box for anything. You can't use the speakers and all of that. So if the public is wondering, this is what we've had to do. So.
Just for edification, I have a unrestricted contractor's license from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and the International Building Code, which we use, does have exceptions for press boxes that are less than 500 square feet or 12 feet in the air. So at some point we can revisit. My personal opinion is that we shouldn't have any places, if everybody can't get to them, then nobody should get to them. That's my personal opinion. But as we go down the road, it looks like our current configuration could meet the letter of the exemption law. But right now, the easiest thing to do is just to rope it off. We have no use for the stadium. It's something we can revisit later on. But that's the current state of affairs with that particular aspect of the International Building Code.
That's it for me, Madam Chair. Or you can show the pictures if you want, but. We've gotten new signs. We ordered permanent signs instead of the paper signs and such.
Thank you. Item number 2 under ongoing business, item B, Air Shirley Regional High School field project. We're discussing this more. We were left with looking at option 1 as being preferred.
We definitely discussed this last meeting, and we tabled a vote. I'd like to make a motion that we accept option 1 of the field renovations plan.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor that's been seconded to accept revision number 1. The floor is open for discussion and questions. Anyone?
Yeah, Joyce, I'd like to bring a couple things forward, if I might. Mr. Tebow, could you open up one of the attachments we sent? It's called, it's labeled Votes for Shirley.
Oh, yeah, sure can. Just give me a minute.
Thanks.
Is this the one right here?
Right, that's it. That shows we've had 3 failed votes for differing fields plans in Shirley, and it has been my experience when you're dealing with a intense protracted problems to be very careful not to overlook the things that you already know. And the first thing that you normally look at with these sort of things are what are the no votes and what are the reasons. Certainly, some people felt cost was a part of it. I thought there were other issues involved. But the thing that I want to bring to everyone's attention here is the sheer volume of people that are coming out. I mean, we've more than doubled the amount of people coming out between the first and the third vote. And that means a lot of people are looking at what we're doing, and I think they're very interested. And if we're going to have, we have to deal with issues that we feel were negative, that were stopping the vote from going through. But what I'm more concerned with dealing with when I look at it now, as I take a step back, is making sure that all the people that voted yes for a reason. And I think when you get into this type of issue, you have to make sure that if we cut out too many things that people value, it's tough to get the energy level up. A lot of people vote no for a lot of different reasons, but we want to make sure that the yes people come up and they can support what we're doing. In that aspect, when I take a look at what we have to do, there are 3 things that are things we have to deal with. One is we have, you have to have quality playing fields for the players. We all want it to be safe, but pretty much any plan that we put out there and gets built is going to be a vastly safer place than we currently have. The one thing that everybody on this committee understands is that the current state of affairs with the athletic fields complex is untenable and totally inadequate for what we need. All of us agree to that. And it also has to establish a sense of place and be a welcoming location for all the people of the district as we try to include them. I'm from Shirley, which 9-10 years ago when we formed the district was really, I would consider, a failed school district. We had strangled it to death because the people in the school department and the committee couldn't adequately communicate to the people of the town, or the people of the town wouldn't listen. But bit by bit, people were voting with their feet and the students were leaving, which everybody knows when that happens, none of the math works. We were in an absolute state of collapse, in my estimation. Air had its own set of difficulties, and at the secondary level, many students from Shirley were electing Parker, the tech school, and Lunenburg. So with shrinking enrollment, they had their own. No one can take a look at what has happened here over the last 9 to 10 years and make a case that it wasn't the right thing to do. It was an absolutely brilliant thing to do. The other brilliant thing that happened with the people that were involved in the building committee that built the high school, that elected not to include the athletic fields as part of the plan, was the 100% accurate and correct move to make. Because as we found out, not many people have opinions for what should go into school, but everybody's got an opinion about what should go for an athletic field. So the right and the safe move was done, and we are the beneficiaries of that decision. As regard to the location, just a brief story. My wife's nephew was a star quarterback for Middleborough. And for a couple of years, they played in a championship game to try to get to Foxborough, and they had to go to Holliston. Holliston had a field complex, and we walked into that place, and it was a beautiful complex. And as I was talking at halftime to one of the parents from Holliston, I looked around, and there were 2 other fields that were lit up, and there were people at the game. there were kids playing frisbee and touch football and soccer happening on fields that was next to the game where the game was being played. And I was talking to the parent. They said, in Holliston, every single Friday night, everybody knows that if you go to the high school at 6:30, something's going to be going on. There's going to be a soccer match. There's going to be a football game. There's going to be a field hockey game. Something is going to happen. And although this was a playoff football game, so it was very well attended, every single Friday night there, they had something going on, and it was a community thing to do. That's the kind of thing that I want to see happen for Air Shirley. Mike, if you could go to the plan view for the field layout.
Just give me a minute, Jim.
You bet.
Is that the overhead shot, Jim?
Yes, yep, plan view. Not that one, it's a sketch.
Okay. Is it a hand sketch?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. All right, so basically you can see where the parking lot is. What I'm proposing is that you'd enter the parking area. There would be a ramp up to a pavilion. The main competition field would be in front of you, where basically the baseball infield and the right field line is. And there would be a second field that would take the left field of the baseball field and the softball field. It's a little out of position here, but the stands and the field and the building complex would be between the track and the main competition field. The track itself would be an 8-lane track with a grass infield. Our track program last year or the year before had 105 students in a school that has 380 total. That is astounding. And I don't have the particulars, but I cannot remember the last time that our track team did not win the league championship. We are by far the strongest program in the area. We have the accessibility problems on the right. The current aluminum benches would come out, and I'd like to pave an area behind that. I would demolish the press booth, pave an area behind that, so if you wanted to put any seating up there, you could tow it, and you would get the added advantage of the elevation. If you could go to the sketch on the utility building, Mike.
Okay, hold on, please.
Can I, is it okay if I just make a comment here?
At any
I'm very confused by what's going on right now. There is a childish sketch in front of me. We have had a committee of people, engineers, specialists, people, part of the school, people who are town administrators involved in this process. And we have a very vetted plan. We had multiple plans to look out. And now we're looking at like weird sketches and stuff that are not part of anything that's been vetted with any professionals that really can look at this. And I don't understand. I guess point of order. I don't know what to say here. I'm really frustrated. And if somebody can step in and explain what the heck is going on right now, please do, because I feel my blood boiling.
Well, I'd like to say that the main problem we probably spent as a district, we can ask Mr. Plunkett, but I will bet you that we have spent over $100,000 on engineering so far in this project. We've spent, we spent over 3 years. And the problem with all of that, as you engage people that we consider to be professionals is that when you involve an architect in anything, if you and your husband were building a house, if you're doing any of that, the first thing you have to do is to figure out exactly what you want and why you want it. You cannot turn them loose and say, this is what we have, what can you come up with?
Jim, that's what we've been doing. And all those iterations were at your request. That's why we've had Plan A, Plan B, Plan 6A, Plan 6B, Plan 6C were all suggestions you had made that we then vetted to find out how much they would cost. Every single time, there's been lots of additional work done at your request.
No,
I don't understand this.
Yeah, well, that is, I would say that is blatantly untrue. There were a number of moves that were made by the people there that were trying to carve numbers because the people there decided that the main problem was the number, and they're trying to carve a number. They even get to the point where to achieve what they feel is an acceptable number, they just decide to have the contingency fee, which has absolutely no support anywhere. Should I continue on? Would you like to do this for a while, or should I just get to the end and everybody can have their say?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to walk away. I cannot watch this.
Okay. So in the area where the fields would be, looking at the main competition field, there would be a 40-foot by 80-foot by 10-foot high open pavilion with a fieldstone fireplace to the south. In the main building, there would be a number of areas cut into it, a medical triage building. I'm sure that when Joe played football at Maine and he got his bell rung, they gave him ammonia salts. Now we need Nate. Anybody gets a head injury, they have to go through concussion protocol. We have to have a place to take care of people, whether they are athletes or whether they are people that need other medical attention at the field. Officials that we have drive from very far away places. I was at a match 2 years ago where one of the officials that was there in the middle of the game was having a hygiene problem. The official had to go back to their car, try to find a place in the school to take care of whatever was going on, drop their bag off and come onto the field. These are not professional officials. They come from far away, and you cannot always just dress in the parking lot. There's also a concession area. You have to have a concession area that where you can wash your hands. We are serving food, all right? There are certain requirements. We've been working very closely with the Neshoba Boards of Health with regards to protocols for the pandemic. And I think maybe health and safety for food should be a part of what we're doing. There also is in here, that isn't in the other plan, a handicapped men's and women's bathroom. There are some people who have mobility problems. My mother goes to all the games. If you go to the football games, the first thing you come across is the student section. Then you'll have the parents who have kids that are on the cheering squad. Then you'll have me and my family who are there for the marching band. Then you'll have the marching band. Then you'll have the football people. It's very many people there. My mother is 97 years old. And she's not going to sit in a wheelchair, because she's my mother and she obviously can't be seen in a wheelchair. And I cannot tell her that she's going to have to get up from her seat and walk 200 yards to the school to find a bathroom. Anyone that has mobility problems should have the right to do it there. All the field stuff that I've seen put together so far, put something together and then try to figure out how can we accommodate the Architectural Access Board. What I say is that you need to design a place for people who have mobility issues. And if somebody that has mobility issues can access it, then nobody else is going to have a problem. If you could move to the, Mike, the sketch that shows the panther.
Yep, hold on, please.
Right.
You okay?
Yes, that's good. In establishing a sense of place, you have to have something that's going to connect with the people. If you take a look at some of the places around us, most notably Fitchburg and Leominster, if you go to Doyle Field, you go to Crocker Field, you feel connected. We need that type of connection that says this is a place you can come back to that people will remember. And for note, the bronze panther that is here on the rock and the fireplace that is part of the pavilion would be paid for by trying to reach into the alumni field. That would not be of the a part of the cost of the main plan. All right, Mike, if you could go to the chart that says athletic siting.
You should come down.
High school athletic siting. If you take a look at surrounding communities, now the reason that we have to go through all these machinations is that we just don't have the acreage at our site. We are not the first people to have to deal with this. Lunenburg High School, who just did a massive renovation and has far more field access placed, and they're similar in enrollment to us, still have their softball and baseball played at Marshall Park, which is a mile away. Their cross-country team runs at Hollis Hill Farm in Fitchburg, which is 4 miles away. Fitchburg, who has a brand new high school, they do cross-country at Cogswell Park, which is 4.5 miles away. Field hockey is played at Game On, and that's 6.9 miles away. Football and outdoor track and soccer, football and outdoor track are played at Crocker Field, 3.2 miles away, and soccer night games at Crocker Field, 3.2 miles away. Leominster has their softball programs at Fournier and Lassie Fields, cross country is at Barrett Park, which is 2 miles away, baseball, field hockey, football, all played at Doyle Field, as is soccer. Here's an interesting one. Outdoor track, no track at Leominster High. They have no home games. They practice at Doyle Field because the track at Doyle Field is in poor condition. They can't have meets. And now the track at Doyle Field is going to be pulled up. So I do not even know if Leominster, a school of 1,056 high school, is even a have track. Littleton, another brand new school, had to face the same issues. They decided that they would run their cross-country program at Fay Park, 1.4 miles away. The field hockey, the football, the outdoor track program, and soccer for night games all played at Tiger Alumni Stadium, 1.6 miles away. Right, currently, we're playing everything on site. If we were able to move the softball and baseball programs to the middle school, it's 4.5 miles away. That's where we would have to be. That is the elephant in the room. If you could bring up the last chart, Mike, which is the printed chart of the middle school fields.
All right, give me a minute to find that one, Jim.
Okay.
I don't seem to have that one, Jim.
Yep, it came from one of the presentations. It shows a overhead airplane view of the middle school.
Oh, okay. All right. Hold on.
There it is. Yeah. This is an overhead view of the property at the middle school in Shirley. If you take a look at where the school area is, you'll see a line that's a fire road. It's a fire access road. The lease property that we control is everything inside that line. The majority of the flat area there, which includes the 2 existing fields that you'll see, it would be directly to the east on this program. Those are existing ball fields. The problem with the one that's furthest east, part of that ball field is currently on Devon's land. Both of these ball fields are in exceptionally poor condition. They are nowhere near ready for, never mind varsity or JV, for any type of play. They are currently used only for practice fields. What I am hoping to do is that it is, from a timeline standpoint, I believe we have to have a presentation for a fields plan, regardless of what the fields plan is, ready for a February special town meeting in Shirley. That's what I would look at for timing. And what I would like to do over the next 6 weeks is to meet with the Shirley Fields Committee to see if we could broker a deal between them and the Board of Selectmen, because it's going to take some money, and this is Shirley money. This is not school money, to upgrade the field conditions there to make it playable for baseball. Now, we would have enough time. This program would have to be completed to welcome the teams for the 2022 season. So we would have to get that squared away. If we are able to accomplish that, then all of the things that I laid out in the early part of the program would then become doable, that are not in what we would call field plan number 1. My estimation on this, we had a lot of work done that Mr. McGuire did through many different layouts. And I believe that the plan that I present tonight for the work that needs to be done at the high school would be $5.9 million. And I believe that is the best way forward.
So many questions here, if I may. Where does 5.9 million come from? Where does that figure derive?
That's question number 1.
Right. Well, do you remember, John, on the original committee, they did orders of magnitude numbers?
I ran that committee with Dan for almost 2 years, Jim. I'm pretty familiar with the project.
Right. And we had orders of magnitude numbers on a lot of the aspects and components of the plan. The rest of the stuff I gleaned from issues that were, from estimates that were done that Patrick did for some of the existing. The track that is there now, the base has to be pulled up. The configuration of the track doesn't change. You're adding 2 lanes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the next question is, why are we talking about a special town meeting again? There is no requirement for a special town meeting. Why do you want to go back to town meeting again? There is no requirement there.
I'm not, I never said that there was a requirement to go to special town meeting. What I'm saying is that we are in a situation where we have 3 failed votes in the town of Shirley. And the way that we communicate, I think, in Shirley best is a special town meeting. So if we go to the town meeting and make the presentation for the fields, whatever the decision is, if I move forward with the fields committee and the selectmen and they cannot support baseball and softball, then we have no option than to go with the plan that we're calling Plan 1.
But you didn't answer my question. Why? You should not even mention special town meeting. If we need to communicate and have a presentation, that's one thing, but it's not a special town meeting. A special town meeting means you're going to have a vote of some sort. Why would you have a special town meeting to not vote and just present information?
We're not calling the special town meeting, Mr. DeForge. We have a special town meeting every year in February. This would be an informational item on the town meeting. Not everything at town meeting culminates in a vote. This is a way to get the information out. If we have a fields forum and schedule it, it will be like the last 2 where the same group of 18 people come. We need to access more people because we have to be able to turn the vote around. The most important thing to have happen is to get an affirmative vote.
For your plan, is what you're saying.
For any plan. For any, if I am unable to find any way that we can move baseball and softball to Shirley, then it's over. And when we go to present the plan, which we're calling Plan 1, we can definitively say in front of the people, it's like, this is the only option before us. We have exhausted all opportunities and nothing else exists. This is what we have to go forward to. It takes that out of the way, and it makes it a much easier ride to get the thing that we all know we need, which is an affirmative vote.
Okay, so did you, this plan that you just proposed to us, did you talk to Mr. Kendall about this at all?
Why would I talk to Mr. Kendall about this? For what
Because
possible?
he's our athletic director?
Do you see something in this plan that doesn't field one of the teams?
No, but you're also you're also moving teams around on him. You're also I would expect that you would consult with the person who schedules all the teams and facilities. Did you consult with Mr. Briggs?
I would never. The only person I consult with is Dr. Malone. Mr. Kendall and Mr. Briggs do not work for me. I would never go over Dr. Malone to talk to anyone on her staff. The only time I've talked to anyone that is on her staff is to talk about personal parental issues with children of mine that happen to be in the high school now. I have never talked to any of the frontline administrators on any issues, and I think it's inappropriate to do so.
Well, there was a committee that was put together, right, to put together the plans, and they looked at all of the different options that that were presented. One of the major issues was that administrators at the school and Mr. Kendall among them wanted to have all of the sports that they could on site. And I thought that being one of their goals, I think that's very important to note. I think it is important to note what they want.
Right. That was referenced by many people. That's what they want. But to be able to get that, you have to give up a number of things. And if you take a look at that chart for the high school athletic siting, you'll see that a number of schools have had to make difficult choices and had to move programs. You were a baseball coach for a number of years. You must have played a number of games at sites that were not at school.
I can tell you from a personal point of view that we played our baseball games off-site for the 22 years that I was the head coach. We played off-site. That's neither here nor there. The desires of the people that exist at there right now, they want to have baseball and softball on site, and they have the facility to do it. They already have them there. They need to be renovated, but they're already there. And I think that the plan that is put forward addresses the other issues as well. So, that's why I support the plan that they put together, because it not only meets the needs, the track, the handicap, and the football field, the ability to have things going on a Friday night, every Friday night. In Acton, Boxborough, where my family grew up, there was a thing going on every single Friday night, and they had one turf field stadium, but that stadium was used every single Friday night. There was an event there. So, a lot of the things that you've addressed, I think, are addressed in this plan that we have. Is it the perfect plan? Who knows? But I think it's the best plan that we can come up with to facilitate all of the sports at the facility where they wanted to be. And I really believe that the votes got closer and closer, and that if we pass this plan tonight and you support it, it will pass.
Yes, can I say another thing? Thank you, Joe, because I agree. I think we need to be very clear with Mr. Quinty's presentation. This is not a plan to keep calling this next thing that Mr. Quinty is bringing forward. It is not a plan. It might be a bunch of sketches and another idea, but it is my understanding, and maybe Jonathan can step in, is my understanding through this entire process that's been going on for years. The Peroni Park was looked at, the middle school was looked at. There were all kinds of things vetted, and all the pros and cons of all these ideas were really looked into. Talking about the middle school now for baseball, part of that property is owned by Devon's. There is the fear, certainly, that property can be taken back. It is not handicap accessible, so thinking that you can just put a bunch of Boy Scouts out there and Girl Scouts to clean up the fields is not going to be the answer. The plan has been fully vetted. I support keeping all of the sports on campus, more than ever. And especially talking to some of my colleagues in other school districts that have athletics in different places. It's really tough. If we can do it, we should do it as planned. And Mr. Quinty, what I keep hearing from you are all these things that you're saying aren't going to work, and trying to make something perfect. There's probably no absolute perfect situation, but I would really like you to focus on the positives of this. And you spoke a little while ago about people remembering a place. Well, let me tell you, I walked that field yesterday, and I will remember forever those signs saying no access, and looking at it, it's desolate. It's terrible. I don't want that to be the memory moving forward. And we have a very good plan, I think. And if you continue to look at all the negatives and not support this, you're going to have people just following you for that reason, because you're a respected member of your community, and we need you to be on board with this. Everybody else is on board. After all of this time and all of this effort and all of this focus on developing a real plan, including, people in the, working for the town, the Board of Selectmen and the FinCom, people are in agreement with this. And you continue to bring forward things that you feel aren't working. And I don't even know what to say about all these sketches and stuff. It just doesn't make sense to me to continue to take our time to look at something else.
Anyone else?
I just have a couple comments. Jim, you brought up the sighting thing, and about other towns that play sports in different locations. I think Lunenburg has always had their baseball and softball off campus. So it's not like they moved their baseball and softball off to accommodate fields or to accommodate any improvements that they made to their facility when they built their high school. Littleton, I think if they had their way, they would rather have their football field and their alumni field on campus and not have to drive 1.6 miles or whatever it was you referred to as being the distance. I think most athletic directors and I think Leominster as well has always been off campus. Another thing, a lot of those school districts you're highlighting as being places that play things off campus, they also have turf fields, which you've pointed out is not desirable for us to have, but that would allow us to play a multitude of different sports on that one field, which solves some of our field issues. So, your idea of having something going on every Friday night could certainly happen on our main campus field. Something you said really struck me. You talked about regionalization and the high school renovation and how those decisions were both brilliant. I can remember having conversations with you during regionalization where you felt like maybe it wasn't the best choice. You yourself now, 10 years later, are saying it was a brilliant choice. Maybe this field that we're proposing now really will end up being the brilliant choice in hindsight. Just want you to think of it that way.
Yeah. Well, I guess I appreciate your comments, but I can say definitively, I never once in my entire life said regionalization was going to be a bad thing for Shirley. Not once in my entire life did I ever say that. That is
So you said it, you didn't think Shirley could do it.
No, that is
I'm not
blatantly not true. I never said that in my life. I was so happy to be done with what was happening here in Shirley. I could see the entire system bleeding away. The two choices were to regionalize with either Air or Lunenburg or to go into receivership. And I was fine with either one of those. I had had enough. That never happened.
Well, I just remember having a conversation where I was saying to you, with all due respect, Jim, like, you know, this is something that we were all fighting for. I don't know. There was some hang up at the time. I don't know if you said it wasn't in Shirley's best interest or maybe I'm just recalling it incorrectly, but you're right. It was a brilliant choice. And I'm so grateful that we did it. And you're always a supporter of our schools. You're always, you know, you're a great supporter of our schools. I don't understand why this field project is the one thing you can't get behind. I just don't, because you are a great supporter. It's just, I don't get it. There's something about this that, you know, everyone else on our committee has been for the plan for years. And we're never going to get there without you. You yourself have admitted that. So it's either we do nothing and let it stay, or we try to do what's best for the kids.
If I may, since I don't see any other comments coming up right now, if we look at this proposal, which comes to I can't read that number, the 5.2 number, and included in that are baseball field improvements. Now, but we could find improvement of those fields needs to be done anyway, no matter what we use them for. Is that true? I mean, just because it says baseball and softball, we could easily convert it to lacrosse or something if we needed to. And so I don't understand why this doesn't lend to flexibility in the future if we need to do that.
What?
Joyce, as I understand it, for whatever is out there as a plan, once it gets agreed to, the actual engineering happens, and many of those types of things can be moved around. People vote for the money, and they vote for the priorities that were laid out when the plan was put out there. But I think everybody understands that when the engineering starts to happen, that hard choices have to be made, and then the administration and the school committee will make the choices that need to be made at that time.
Right. So there's flexibility here.
Always, yes, always.
Right. So the fact that you're just improving the whole area doesn't mean that it has to be dedicated in one direction or the other, except for the track and the football in the middle of it. Okay. And then I would also call on Mr. Plunkett, if I could, to give us a slight breakdown. Nothing etched in stone, Mr. Plunkett. Don't panic. And to break down to the portion that would be going to Air and to Shirley. And
we have that, Joyce.
We need to break down the voter.
Joyce, I have that.
Oh, you have that, Michelle?
Yeah. Okay,
thank you.
If you give me a second, I can find it. And Jim, let me go back and because I don't want to be accusing you of something that didn't happen. So if regionalization was not something that, you know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I do believe the high school project was something that you were saying Shirley couldn't afford. And then when the middle school debt was brought on board, it was something that then maybe you did support. So I do want to clarify.
I would not think that's accurate.
Okay, so I don't want to accuse you of something. I'm sorry if I spoke out about regionalization and that wasn't your position. Just give me one second. I'm just finding that breakdown. I'm sorry.
Michelle, I have the numbers. I have the numbers
Okay,
here.
thank you. Thanks.
Okay, for option one as proposed in the packet tonight, the 5.274 with 120,000 in movable equipment. The total is 5.3, almost just under 5.4 million. It would be 2.3 million for Shirley at 43% and just over 3 million for AIR at 57%. So
and I'm correct that AIR doesn't need to revote this. Is that true?
AIR does not have to vote again.
Yes, no, I checked that out with Town Administrator Robert Pompian, and he consulted Town Council, and they will not have to vote again.
And that number doesn't include the $500,000 donation, which would be taken off the top.
If it's still on the table.
If it's still on the table, yeah.
Correct.
So what would be the voting process?
Well, so what we did last time when we rejiggered the plan was we officially voted. We took a vote, and then that kicked into motion asking the presenting to the Board of Selectmen and asking Shirley and asking them to call for a debt exclusion vote for the purposes of funding Shirley's apportionment of the project.
Okay.
And then there's a 35-day waiting period from when they call that to when you can handle the vote. Now,
So the only vote, town-wide votes, would be in Shirley. AIR, there doesn't have to be an overall vote. There doesn't have to be a vote in AIR.
No.
Okay.
Just in Shirley, a debt exclusion vote.
Okay.
It's presented to the Board of Selectmen, and then they call for the vote. And then we
Okay.
could call for the vote if they don't do it. So I think we still have flexibility here, but I think time is wasting, and just to reassure all our students and our coaches that are advancing forward nicely, and the great track team that we have, I think I would like to know what would the next step be, and so we have basically 45 days or so to call for a special election.
Madam Chair, if I may?
Yes, please.
I think the next step, if the committee were to vote, that there would be a presentation to the Shirley FinCom and then a subsequent presentation to the Shirley Board of Selectmen.
Thank you. Does that feel correct to everybody?
I think that I don't believe there's a presentation to Shirley FinCom. I think there was some confusion over that. Now that's been clarified between the present administration. I think there is a bylaw change that may be happening that will allow the Finance Committee to weigh in on these types of capital projects where currently they apparently are enjoined from doing so. So I do not believe that we have to present to the Finance Committee. That's how I read it at this point.
Well, the Finance Committee is really an advisory committee to some aspects of it. They recommend stuff, but they don't necessarily decide on it.
yeah. Sorry, Jim. I think you and I are probably going to say the same thing. There's the bylaw that says how it works and how they've been doing it, and they've been a little different, and they're trying to update that to reflect practice.
Right. So, and I think I think that will ultimately be the case, but I think in the current state of affairs that they are not allowed to weigh in on it. I think you go directly to the Board of Selectmen. That's my opinion. You could talk to Mr. McGovern, but that's how I understand it at this point.
So at this point, I'd like to first thank Jim for all the work that he's done on his proposal, his plan for the project. I saw some really, really cool things in there. I really liked the foyer type thing, or the quad or whatever you call it, with the fire pit and the gate over the top, and the panther. I thought that was really very cool. But I believe that what's best for the district and what's best for our kids and best for the people that are giving up and working as coaches and administrators in our program, that the plan that that's on the table is the best plan going forward. And so I'd like to call a vote on that, and hope that if this passes, that Jim, you can get behind this for us.
Mr. Leo, would you like to move the question?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we accept Plan 1 as presented.
Second that before, Michelle?
Yes, she did.
Oh, yeah, I second that before. Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Okay. Seeing no other comments, and I think thinking that this is not, we need to improve the whole area, and to keep doing that and then seeing how we're going to use it can be two different things. And I think it's a very tight place up there, but it's been working the way we've worked it. So I would ask Michelle to call the roll, please. Michelle?
Mr. DeForge?
Aye.
Mrs. Granger?
Aye.
Mr. Leone?
Aye.
Mr. Quinty?
Nay.
Mrs. Reshoots?
Aye.
Mrs. Simmons?
Aye.
So it sounds like the next thing we need to do is to present to the Board of Selectmen in Shirley. Am I on the right page here? Am I on the right page?
Madam
Next thing
Chair,
we do is present to the Selectmen.
I think as when we had the leadership meetings, I think the plan was to go to the FinCom first and then to the Board of Selectmen, but whatever is the will of the committee. I think that's what Mike.
Well, the Board of Selectmen is the one who's going to call the vote, not the FinCom committee. You might present to the FinCom committee to just so that they're on board.
Right.
But I don't think they have to approve it before we go forward.
No, I don't know. I think it was just a presentation. It was what Mr. McGovern had recommended, and so.
Okay.
Whatever the will of the committee is.
All right. Mr. McGovern recommends that. We'll go for that direction. Mr.
I would follow. No, sorry. I would just follow up with Mr. McGovern and ask. As Jim and I sort of outlined, there's been some changes to the way FinCom and Shirley has their practices. So let's just reconfirm with them that with Mr. McGovern that we are who we should be presenting to and what we should be looking for from each of those groups.
Could we offer to have some sort of joint meeting if the Finance Committee presentation isn't, necessarily a requirement? We'd still want to, out of respect for them, present to them as well so they can see it.
We could check with Mike McGovern, and politics will rear its ugly head. So if the political thing is to do that, then we should do it to the Finance Committee.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone else? Okay. So we will see how this moves forward. But I think the idea is that this can be flexible, and if it's not working out the way the fields are working, then we can continue from there. And I'm sure Mr. Kendall would like to weigh in on that. Thank you very much. Subcommittee reports. We have Mr. Leone. Do you have a subcommittee report?
Well, we just had all of our stuff done. Yeah, so I think we're good.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to go on with some other details. Or
No, you were all present for what happened,
Okay.
so we don't have to rehash that.
I was going to skip you, but I thought policy review, Mr. Quinty. We're looking at sexual harassment, the Title IX policy.
Right. If you, I reviewed both of these policies, both our ACAB and the MASC policy. They're radically different. Our policy basically deals with issues that might happen between, say, employees and administrators and teachers. It sort of focuses on that alone. The MASC policy goes down to the student level. It has a couple of cut and paste things that I find kind of tacky, but it also gives more information, legal information, than I think we'd like to see in our policy. The policy manual is not supposed to be the Hammurabi Code of Massachusetts. I mean, the people reading this, it's supposed to be to guide some of our actions and to give some amount of instruction. And I found the writing style very difficult to deal with it. It also deals with many aspects of harassment that show up in a lot of our policies for bullying. So it ends up being duplicitous in many areas. And I think adopting this is a problem at this point. Now, what I'm doing is that I'm laying out some of the aspects from that MASC policy against our bullying ones to see how much overlap there really is. The other thing that really concerned me with this is that they want us to adopt it. And if we adopt it, we are supposed to send and receive back signed copies from everybody in the district, including students and parents. And that seemed crazy to me. So I have a number of concerns with it. I'll try to get something together that overlays some of this with the bullying provisions that we have, but I don't think it's anything that I'd be looking to adopt right away. I think my initial review, when I look at our policy, I think our policy is adequate for handling administrator, teacher, upper level issues. And I think our bullying policies have enough flexibility to handle it. But I'll probably need another couple of weeks to be able to say that definitively. I don't know what anybody thought about that.
I mean, this is very important, and I think sometimes these people go on and put the legal stuff in there, which all should be referred to by your legal references at the bottom of the policy. They don't need to be reiterated in the middle of it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of explaining that goes in how this ties into what Title IX requirements are. And I found none of that really to be helpful from a policy standpoint. I take a look at policies in the aspect that these are simpler to follow. It's kind of a dumbed down reading of what the actual law is, and you try to hit the high points. And on most of the aspect, when you get into sensitive areas like sexual harassment, is that you really want to keep the people who have to deal with that a very small circle of people, because it's something I think you have to be very highly trained to be effective at, and trying to do it in an overall approach I find to be ineffective. So I'd like to see our policy manual reflect things that the average person could understand and clearly execute. And
Okay.
I don't see that with this recommended policy at all.
Okay, so then we will not call this the first reading and wait for it to come back.
Right. Thank you.
Simple is much better, easy to understand.
And don't we have some of this in our student handbooks anyway, which we have approved?
A lot of it.
Yeah.
But there still needs to be a policy that's the underlying policy.
Oh, no, I mean it's not something that's not addressed to some extent.
Yeah, and I would just add that this policy that Mass put out was a result of some of the changes to the Title IX regulation, and so that's what this reflects. We just
So that supported that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, was there some thing that changed that inspired MASC to rewrite this policy and push it out, or was it just the regular review?
Yeah, it was due to revisions at the federal level
Yeah.
of the Title IX policy, yes.
Okay, thank you.
That's why it's come up again.
Yeah, and then when we had a training for the administrators, we learned what the differences were and the obligations and responsibilities. And so there's, as Jim pointed out, there are some things in the policy that we have right now that should be updated, but, again, of course, this is up to the committee.
Thank you. That sounds good, Jim. Very nice. Okay, moving on to chairman's notes. I was going to go to the resolutions from the Massachusetts Association School Committee meeting, but I'm going to hold on the report in the view of the time. But I would like to put in and thank Mr. Tebow and his whole crew. And in Mary's report, where she was saying that, we've done so well with communication and setting these things up, Mr. Tebow and his crew with their technical skills certainly were a huge contributor for that. And we also would like to thank him for putting up with us. And this will continue, Mr. Tebow. I'm sorry, this won't be the last time. Is there anything else to come across the committee not anticipated in advance of 48 hours of this meeting? Seeing none, the communications can be cut since the first three things really were for the last meeting and they don't exist anymore. So I think we can start with November 19th.
Okay. Quite confused there for a second because my calendar starts with November 19th.
Oh, well, I got an earlier one. Sorry.
Hours. Thursday, November 19th, we have evening parent-teacher conferences, grades 9 through 12. Friday, November 20th, half day of school for grades 9 through 12 and afternoon parent-teacher conferences. Wednesday, November 25th, half day of school for all students. Thursday and Friday, the 26th and 27th of November, no school for Thanksgiving break. Monday, December 14th, report cards issued for grades preschool through 8. Wednesday, December 16th, progress reports issued for grades 9 through 12. Thursday, December 17th, half day of school for grades preschool through 5 and evening teacher-parent conferences. Friday, December 18th, half day of school for grades preschool and afternoon parent-teacher conferences. Excuse me. Wednesday, December 23rd, half day of school for grades preschool through 12, and Thursday, December 25th through Friday, January 1st, our holiday break. January 4th, we come back to school.
Thank you, Mr. DeForge. I would also like to speak just a moment that Thanksgiving is coming. We're all going to need to try to stay as safe as we can. I am making a list of various relatives and calling them on the phone that day. So I know it's very tempting. One of my employees is meeting with his family. They're all quarantining for 14 days before Thanksgiving. So that's the way they're doing it. But anyway, I would like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and please be safe. Please use judgment, and remember this virus doesn't care if it's Thanksgiving. So they will not take a day off. I would anticipate that. I would call for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Sorry. Huh?
Motion to adjourn.
You had 5. You had 6 of them.
Okay. Is there
Second.
All right. Ms. Town, would you please call the roll? And it's 9. It's 9 what?
9:33.
9:33. Thank you.
Mr. DeForge.
Aye.
Mrs. Granger.
Muted.
Sorry. Aye.
Mr. Leone.
Aye.
Mr. Quinty.
Aye.
Mrs. Reschutz.
Aye. Happy
Mrs.
Thanksgiving,
Simmons.
everybody.
Aye. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Stay safe, everyone.
Bye-bye.